There's a lot of people here. Feel free just to come onto the mic and speak with me. I'm Fiendish Crypto. I'm the host today. I saw that Brian, I'm not sure who Brian is, but he set up this Bitcoin Cash community in Twitter. I thought that was an awesome idea. And I wanted to just join in and get the ball rolling and create this Twitter Spaces. I have to admit, this is the first time I've run a Spaces, so forgive me if there's some technical difficulties. But so far it seems pretty good. I'm recording this today just in case anyone can't drop in. They can listen to about anything that we discuss. Yeah, so I hope everyone's had a nice weekend. Don't know what the weather's like with you here in Europe. It's been absolutely amazing. An absolutely fantastic weekend of weather, which is really nice. Yeah, I hope the idea of this Twitter Spaces is just so that we can talk. The idea is to try and keep things positive, friendly, definitely, polite, hopefully, but also a lot of fun to talk about Bitcoin Cash, everything Bitcoin Cash related. There's so much stuff going on right now in the space. Hey, Sunny is here. Wonderful to see. I'm sure everyone's well acquainted with Sunny. Sunny has pretty much, as I understand, single-handedly adopted 2 countries into using Bitcoin Cash, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah, you're actually understating the amount that Sunny has done in the Caribbean. He has St. Kitts, he has Nevis, he has Curacao in the works, he has Guadeloupe in the works, he has Barbados in the works. He's really, and he's in India right now. He's hosting some meetup in India. The problem is it's just supposed to be for business owners so they can all start accepting and using and doing payroll in Bitcoin Cash. But somehow the word got out to the general public and his Instagram feed just got overwhelmed with people texting saying they want to go. So I don't know how to, I'm new at Twitter Spaces, so we should make him a speaker on here so we can hear what he has to say directly about it. But I'm not entirely sure how to do that because this is only my second time ever doing a Twitter Space. But I love to see that there's so many Bitcoin Cash fans in here already.
So many people. I'm absolutely blown away. I was kind of wondering, is anyone going to turn up tonight? How big is the Bitcoin Cash community?
How are you guys?
Hey. Hey, Sunny.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, great, thank you. And how are you doing? And where are you at right now?
I'm in Bombay, in India. And
lovely.
I said, we have an event coming Sunday, that's May 29th, which is was supposed to be focused on merchant onboarding. And we actually had the word clearly out, but I had made the post on actually Twitter and Instagram, and I forgot I'm not on an island anymore. I have like 1 million texts on my Instagram. I cannot even open my Instagram anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, you're doing an amazing job. As Roger Ver said, yeah, I'm understating it. You know, when I'm saying you've pretty much adopted 2 countries, that's just scratching the surface of what you've been doing.
Yes, St. Martin actually, really, I used to live there from 98 till 2008 before I moved to St. Kitts. So all the business owners are more or less the same, and they actually own many other businesses. As you see now, the cruise season just started for Alaska, and everybody that owns a business in St. Kitts and St. Martin also owns a business in Alaska, in Ketchikan, in Juneau, in Skagway. So you're going to see a lot of green spaces. Alaska is going to turn green just now.
It's really exciting to hear, and it's amazing to see the work you're doing there, Sunny. Really wonderful to see that. And what's your feeling with the merchants? Are they seeing customers come in and using this in St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Martin's? I understand that this is really already happening. But what about the merchants you've already adopted in Mumbai, or we've also been in Dubai, right?
Yes. So Dubai actually, everybody has to know that India was a big confusion until just last week, where the government has clarified a lot of things regarding cryptocurrency. And Indians are very skeptical when it comes to legalities and illegal things. The islands were very clear. They don't have regulation. There's no problems. You can do what you want and you can accept it. There's nothing, no restriction on accepting it. It's like a barter. You pay for it as far as you don't change it to fiat on a personal level. They don't care what you're doing. India has just clarified the situation last week that there's a 1% TDS. So on all transactions, you have to pay 1% to the government, right? That's clarified. And then 30% on the profit, that's capital gain. So if basically a merchant is accepting $20 for a beer, for example, and that 20 becomes 40, then 30% of the extra 20 has to go to the government. But people were like, not knowing exactly. So now they know. That's why even this first meetup, which is massive, and you will hear a lot about it. And we will have the press come and clarify what exactly is there and what are the things. So India is going to boom soon about this. The exchanges, they're facing issues because the 1% on every transaction sometimes is an issue for the exchanges. But I'm not in the exchange business. I'm more helping with merchant adoption, where they don't care because they're actually paying 2-3% now for credit card fees. That also takes 2 days to clear and come in the account. This is instant. So they'll be more than happy.
This is sorry.
Yeah, I would like to add one more thing. Like, Sunny, in India, GST is also imposing. Like, in recent GST council meeting, they have proposed 28% reverse tax. In here, what happens now? When a merchant, if they take services from international crypto exchanges, then rather than paying GST, they had to deduct GST. For example, you have taken a service worth of $100 from Binance USA or Binance Japan, Dubai, anywhere. Then you had to deduct 28% tax on that $100 service, and you have to deposit it to government. That law is also coming.
No, you are right. But listen, that's coming. But you are charging GST on exchange. People that buy a beer are already paying the 28% GST. You cannot charge 28% GST on the service and on crypto. So we are talking about merchant adoption. If you go to a restaurant and eat $100, I'm just saying dollars, convenient for me, of food. So the 28% the merchant is already paying to the government, and then 1% for crypto deduction. So that 28% that you're saying proposed is for exchanges when you buy. But that's never going to be approved because who's going to pay 29% to the government for exchanges? Everybody knows the markup is 2.5 or 0.5%. That's a totally different, like I said, I have zero knowledge about the exchanges and how that works and what profit they have. I'm more focused on the merchant adoption.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's at. And this is why I'm absolutely for Bitcoin Cash. I think for me, it's so clearly the crypto that will storm the world. I mean, let's not talk about price, right? Because things aren't so great there. But the real use or the real utility of crypto is the only purpose. If we don't actually have real utility, then let's go back to PayPal. Let's go back to credit cards, MasterCards. It serves no purpose. So, Sunny, I'm absolutely with you on that. And I think you're doing a really wonderful job. What I would ask is just a little request, Sunny. Seeing as you're out in India and you're in Mumbai, if you could just pop over also to Pune and do some adoption there, because I'm very often flying to Mumbai and I'm actually working in Pune. And if I could use my Bitcoin Cash there, I would love that.
Day after tomorrow, I will fly to Pune.
Okay. It's like 4 hours away.
I'll put a few merchants and then make sure that you guys see it.
That's great.
Yeah. Before it was very first 10 merchants, 20 merchants, you go to people that you know because you're scared of refusals and all that. But after you onboard so many, life becomes easier. You just get the confidence in you, and then I don't like to give up. So until I don't really sign them up or not sign them up, download a wallet, download their cash wallets. I don't really like to really leave their business, Yeah.
That's actually a great point, Sunny, though. Like, I think there's a lot of confusion in the crypto space still between wallets and accounts. And earlier, even this morning, I saw it was actually a pretty cool looking an NFC card. They're like, you pay with Lightning using this card, tap to pay. And they're talking about, download the wallet today. And then I tried to download it. It's not a wallet. It's an account. It's a custodial account. And if you're using a custodial account, you lose the vast majority of cryptocurrency's benefits by using an account rather than a wallet. And so I think we should stop letting these accounts get away with misleading the public by calling themselves wallets. Like, if you don't have the private keys yourself, it's not a wallet, it's an account. And maybe we should start being more aggressive on the policing of that front. When you see an app that's claiming to be a crypto wallet or a Bitcoin wallet or a Lightning wallet, but it's actually just an account, we should complain about that and get them to change that. Any thoughts from the other people on the call here?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Someone mentioned this in Reddit in RBTC. It was the custodial and non-custodial, that this is actually a term that is commonly used, but it's kind of confusing for a lot of people new to the space, and even maybe to some that have been in the space a bit longer. And Roger, I think you nailed it on the head, and I think there is a difference, a wallet or an account. Are you opening up an account at a service, at a company, at a bank? Or do you have a wallet? Do you actually hold the keys to your crypto? But even talking about keys, I think, is just too much. It's a wallet or it's an account. I like it. What does everyone else think?
A wallet and account seems like a much clearer distinction than custodial and non-custodial. People are going to they're going to go to sleep when they hear those words. But if they hear wallet is clear and account is clear, and a wallet is not an account.
Sorry, just to cut you off there, Roger, I want to mention something. We have 95 people, if I understand correctly, currently in this Bitcoin Cash space. Considering this is the first one, and I've seen a few of the developers doing something similar, and I've dropped in there, and there's been about 3 or 4 people. So we have 98 people. This is fantastic, right? This is a great number of people. And just so it's clear for everyone out there, if you want to speak, just go ahead and request it. I'll try and give you the floor. But I'm new to this, so bear with me.
I think we're all new to this, and maybe that's been one of the failings with the Bitcoin Cash community is I think we haven't done enough outreach on social media, because I see that there's been lots of other Bitcoin and whatnot, Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse and this and that. We should start doing this more often and get the word out. Like Bitcoin Cash is awesome and it works as cash, and you don't need an account. All you need is a wallet, and start harping on those differences. And I see I think it's Derek McGill just joined. We should definitely make him a speaker because he writes more than he talks, but everything he writes, I really he puts a lot of thought into it, and I enjoy all the different things that I've seen him write over the years.
Roger, speaking of this, our wallet, we have to actually, when you try to connect it to the bank, because a lot of people still want to do it, and by the Supreme Court ruling in India, the banks cannot deny anybody a account connection for whether it's account or a wallet. We should, I know then the KYC is required, but that depends on the customer's choice. But we should actually open that access, if it's possible, where they have the choice. Because a lot of merchants ask, what if I get the money from Bitcoin Cash, I accept it for my business, but I want to connect it to my bank account, but it says this facility is not available in the country. So that was one thing we have to look for in India, because India is massive.
Yeah, maybe they can use some of the existing crypto exchanges in India as well. Like maybe someday we can support it directly through the Bitcoin.com app, but it's not ready yet. It's not something that's going to be ready in 48 hours. It's
right. So for now, that's what we have to guide them, right? So connect it to your other whatever. If you want to really transfer it, just shift it from here to Binance or whatever, and just connect it to your account.
And I'm sure there's other local crypto exchanges in India as well that have really good local, merchant connections. So they could even set up the cash register app to just deposit directly to their local, Indian exchange as well, and not even have to deal with, some other outside foreign country. Because as amazing as Binance is, I don't know how good their fiat conversion rails are inside of India.
No, they have many. When I say just a casual say about the Binance, right? Okay, noted. Yes.
Just so it's clear to everyone, I'm seeing on the very front page that someone's requesting to speak. But when I go in and click into the app, it's showing that no one's requesting to speak. So if there is someone out there that is requesting to speak, I apologize. I don't know who you are, if you exist, but I can't. Okay, now I see there's 2 requests to speak. Yeah, sorry, I'm having some issues here. It says when I go in and it shows the request to speak is 0, but I'm getting a pop-up on the top of my phone. So I'm not sure if the Twitter app is glitching out or if this is just your host is an idiot. It's one of the 2.
Yo, so Roger, I got a question we're talking about India and all that. What about St. Kitts? Is that actually like a Bitcoin Cash utopia? I've seen your posts on Reddit on RBTC regarding that, but I just want to hear more about that because I'm based out of Puerto Rico and that's really close to me. So
yeah, it's just like half hour or 45-minute plane ride or something from Puerto Rico. I don't know if it's a utopia, but I don't think it's really an exaggeration at this point. It's somewhere in the ballpark of it. I think it's probably somewhat safe to say, and I want to get Sunny's opinion as well, but there's probably more merchants that accept Bitcoin Cash now than don't. It's almost every restaurant. It's gas stations. It's supermarkets. It's all the souvenir shops. It's probably more businesses accept it and use it now than don't. And that's a really big deal. I've been there on and off since 2012. Sunny's been there even longer than me, and he knows everybody. And Sunny, would love to hear your thoughts.
So
adoption's real.
I don't know what exactly is the word used, but how they calculate per capita, I think we are the best in the world. 45,000 people exact. I know the numbers by heart. 159 merchants. Most of them accepted. All the major restaurants, gas stations, supermarkets. And it was difficult to get the first Chinese one. But after we have the first one, I think we have every single Chinese supermarket and restaurant now calling us to be onboarded. So there was a time when we used to go, please, can we help you, show you how the cash register works? Times have changed now. Now they call us and they say, can you please come, download it for us, show us how it works, teach our staff how it operates. So everyone is interested. The flow is there. And the best part is people are not. So I know there's a price goes up and down, but people actually not even worried about that anymore because they have just started. They're not investing $20,000 that it becomes 10,000 overnight. The transactions are $20, $100, $200, and then they actually go back and they spend it. They go to the bars, they go again, buy their things. So it's like a rotation, which we needed. And then after the ATMs come very soon, it's more of exactly the word utility than investment. They're not even looking at it as an investment anymore. It's like cash.
Yeah, and then some of the businesses, they're even using it for payroll too. So I know Sonny's been doing that with his businesses and his employees. And then there's another hotel. The owner wanted to give every single employee, it's like, I don't know, 150 people or something, some Bitcoin Cash. And so initially he thought he was going to go have to buy some Bitcoin Cash on an exchange so he'd have enough to give everybody part of their salary in Bitcoin Cash. He's like, oh, wait a minute. We've done enough sales where we already have enough Bitcoin Cash to give everybody at the entire hotel that works there part of their payroll in Bitcoin Cash. So it's really amazing. It's not people that are just buying and holding it and never actually doing with it. Like, people are using it. And I know I've been at different restaurants, and even while I'm in the restaurant, other patrons in the same restaurant that I don't know, it's just some other guy is paying with Bitcoin Cash. And like, it was really interesting to just see like it's a real currency that people are actually using in day-to-day life, like all the time. It's not just it's not just a little bit. I think actually that's where the Bitcoin Cash community and maybe myself and Sonny too, mainly, we're failing a bit, because like the world is all, El Salvador this and Bitcoin that, but like, no, there's way more people using Bitcoin Cash like per capita in St. Kitts than El Salvador, without any doubt whatsoever. And,
I was born in El Salvador. Nobody's using Bitcoin. Nobody.
Yeah, in St. Kitts, everybody's using it. So like I'm going back there in a
Correction, Roger. Everyone's using Bitcoin Cash, huh? Just so it's really clear.
Thank you for the clarification. Yeah. So.
In St. Martin too, not to forget St. Martin, most of the business are taking it. And actually I've been traveling, and our other team members have been traveling too. But I'm not exaggerating. And this doesn't sound too much. 9 businesses texting me in the last 48 hours for somebody to go help them, to show them they want stickers. I know 9 doesn't sound too much, but for a small island, 9 businesses texting me in 48 hours is amazing. And
that's really amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the place. What's the whole population of St. Martin? Like 100,000 maybe? So.
Less than 100,000, I think. Yeah. And there also, its acceptance is wide. Everybody from hotels to restaurants, doctors, lawyers' offices. And I actually texted you, Roger, a couple of interviews. The former finance minister, that is actually opposition, had a beautiful interview which I sent you the copy, and I can actually post it. I don't know how to post it, but I'll post the link. And all he had to say is good things about Bitcoin Cash. That's opposition, not the ruling government. Opposition, and a former minister of finance says he always wanted crypto to be seen as a utility, and the only crypto he's seeing as a utility is Bitcoin Cash. And he's very happy that MP Bryson asked for his salary and the world is opening to it. I actually met him personally. He's my good friend, Perry. But I was amazed at how it's not affecting politics. It's not affecting us. Even in St. Kitts, whether it's ruling, opposition, not opposition, former parties, they all love Bitcoin Cash. So it's not even about somebody asking for the currency because we are friends. No, it's everybody has opinions to give, and it's positive. They're actually amazed because St. Martin just stopped issuing checks, or they have 1%. When you withdraw money, they deduct 1% of your own money. And the Western Union lines are like 3 hours. I mean, the strip clubs, they're calling us, please come help us download more wallets, because they want to send back money home. They don't want to go stand in the lines of Western Union anymore, for example.
There is simply no reason why anyone today should be using Western Union, and I think this is a great part with remittances, where Bitcoin Cash is a really great utility, great use case. And what I also think, I heard this, Sunny and Roger, and I'm totally with you. The use of crypto, the use of Bitcoin Cash in real trade, in real commerce, this is where it's at, and this is where the value of the coin will be gained. And I'm absolutely certain of this. But hey, let's look at this, the price. And I think this is a great time actually to get people using Bitcoin Cash and adopting it, because the price right now is really low. But I see it as the opposite of the Luna, right? Everyone was buying Luna. Everyone was being told to buy Luna at the peak before it went down to zero. And with Bitcoin Cash, everyone in this community knows it's not going to zero. Maybe it's going to go down a little bit more. Maybe it's going to go down 50% more. We can't promise that. No one can say that. But what's going to happen in a year? What's going to happen in 2 years or 3 years with this coin when it's really being utilized in the economy? It's only going to go up. So people are going to be using it. People are going to be spending it. And everything that's left over, they will be saving it. They will not be swapping it out for USDT or whatever other shit stable coin. Hey, other than CoinFlex USD, I'm quite a fan of Mark Lamb. But no one's going to be swapping it out for that. No one's going to be swapping it out for BTC. And I think this is really just a fantastic time to get people into Bitcoin Cash. The price is low. That's great, because the people that get into it now are going to be pretty happy with if they keep any, if they save any. over the next 1, 2, 3 years.
And I don't know if we can figure it out, but I see that, it looks, there he is. Mark Dice just joined here. And I don't know if people know who he is. I'm not sorry for putting you on the spot there, Mark, but he has a YouTube channel with almost 2 million subscribers and puts out all sorts of awesome videos. And I've spoken with him a bit. If we can figure out how to use the Twitter space and let him take his, he's basically just political commentary and satire mixed in at the same time. And would love to hear, what he has to think about all this. And I'll let him say what he thinks, but I've spoken to him in the past a bit as well. And we need to figure out how to let, Derek. Oh, Derek's been a speaker now. Let's get Mark in here as well. And if Derek has anything to add, exciting to see the attention that we're getting here with people actually using Bitcoin Cash as cash. And I'm a huge fan of Mark Dice. If you haven't followed him on Twitter, make sure you do. And his YouTube channel is maybe even better than his Twitter account, but both are excellent.
Hey, Roger, I have a question.
Go for it. Yeah, we're all here.
So, my question is, when you're trying to value cryptocurrencies, like currencies like Bitcoin Cash or, other cryptos that try to be, currencies used for everyday transactions, if you look at the price of Visa, the market cap of Visa, the market cap of American Express, you can kind of get a sense or the market cap of PayPal, let's say. You kind of get a sense for the trajectory and the peak valuation for cryptos that try to be new transfers of value. So but if you look at the store of value around the world where you can store millions and millions and trillions of dollars, isn't it so safe to say that Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin is going to always be appreciating price, and Bitcoin Cash kind of has a ceiling because it's just going to be a transactional currency, and the peak market cap for that is between $50 to $150 billion?
No, I think it's the exact opposite of that. So if you look at the total market cap for gold in the world, it's around $10 trillion. The worldwide market cap for cash is $100 trillion. So it's 10 times bigger in gold. And the starting point right now, it's 150 times less per Bitcoin Cash than Bitcoin. So that means we have a 15,000 times bigger opportunity or something. I might have to get out the calculator because there's so many zeros there. The Bitcoin Cash potential upside is way bigger because think about it, there's way more cash floating around in the world than there is gold being used as a store of value. And then one other thing I want to harp on too that I've seen for a while, people always say, a store of value comes first before you use it as a medium of exchange. Well, for those of us that have been around long enough and look back at the Silk Road, that was your empirical proof that people were using it as a medium of exchange before anybody even considered using it as a store of value. And without any doubt whatsoever, the medium of exchange comes before people use it as a store of value. And that's why everyone's using the dollar as a store of value today, because they can spend it anywhere. Or in Europe, they're using the euro because they can spend it anywhere. If Bitcoin Cash becomes spendable everywhere on the internet and in real life, that's what people are going to want to use to save their money as. And whatever cryptocurrency works the best as money, and it's spendable everywhere, that's the one people are going to want to save their money in. So the upside for that is way bigger than something that's just used as a store of value and you can't spend. So I hope that answered your question.
And sorry, just if I could just add on to that, Roger, this is a mistake I think that Kim.com has made too. I guess it's just to make the marketing easier, is that Bitcoin Cash, if it and when it is successful, it not only just takes over all of the cash in the world, it would also take over the role of digital gold. There is no reason why it won't also take over that entire market.
Absolutely. In fact, thanks for reminding me. Let me text him and see if we can get him in here on the Twitter space as well. And do you know how to make? I want Mark Dice in here as a speaker. If you could,
I've invited him, but yeah, whether he's accepted or not, I don't think so.
Okay. Anyhow, subscribe to his YouTube channel. It is fantastic. Anytime you're feeling tired or frustrated with the world, go and watch him mocking the powers that be, and you'll feel better about life.
What would you say is the main thing that Mark Dice kind of sells? What's his persona for everyone to hear?
My favorite is he has these man on the street interviews where he asks people, do you want this 1 ounce gold coin or this king size Snickers bar? I think was one of the ones. And person after person after person says, I want the Snickers bar.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, this is good. It's funny.
And so they just don't understand the new gold. And that's the thing. Gold used to be money and it was used as money. And then they started using gold IOU certificates, gold and silver IOU certificates. And before too long, the certificates that were supposed to be redeemable for the gold or silver got completely separated from the gold and silver, and now we have the crazy inflation world that we have today. That's what's happening with Bitcoin right now, and everybody has to use a custodial wallet, and they don't have the Bitcoin themselves. That gives all these custodial wallet companies the ability to do fractional reserve Bitcoining, and then they gives them the ability, if the government tells them, to seize everybody's funds. You lose 95% of the benefit if you have to use custodial wallets for everything, and so it's really frustrating to see that the general public doesn't seem to understand that you need to be able to use a real wallet, and if everyone's just using a custodial platform, you might as well just go back to PayPal.
Hey, Roger. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sherry. I was just going to say a couple of days ago, Australia announced that they want to remove cash by 2024, 2025. So the option of, circulating notes is going to be removed pretty soon. And Bitcoin Cash is the best option moving forward as a cryptocurrency out there.
I don't disagree. And there's definitely a worldwide war on cash because the governments don't like cash. They can't track it. They can't see what you're doing with it. It's a lot harder for them to extract a large percentage of the economy in the form of taxes when people are using cash. I'm sure like lots of restaurants don't report all the cash that they get. So,
hey, speaking about that war on cash and the opposition that might arise between free market money and the interests of government, I have a question about 51% of tax. Can you share your thoughts on whether Satoshi's design is long-term fee reliant for economic security, whether the low transaction fees, if they persist in the future, as a result of halvings, would result in a lower miner incentive and therefore a lower cost of 51% of tax? How do you think about that? Thanks.
So the summary of your question is, which is more important, the block reward or fees from transactions to pay the miners to secure the network in the long term? Is that the accurate summary?
Yeah, I mean, since the halving of the subsidy occurs every 4 years, fees need to grow, as I understand, in order to sustain economic security. Otherwise, the cost of a perpetual, hostile, 51% empty block mining attack would go down, which would probably, in the long term, devalue the token on a proof of work blockchain. Because if you don't have economic security, and if it's cheap to attack, then, why would you want to store your money there, right?
Yeah, so we've kind of already been through that argument when the scaling civil war happened within Bitcoin, and Bitcoin decided to limit the block size to 1 megabyte to try and force people to pay higher fees on Bitcoin.
Moore's Law.
And what actually wound up happening, though, is that people just switched to other chains, and we saw this explosion in Ethereum, and then when the fees became high on Ethereum, we've seen explosions in, Avalanche and all these other EVM-compatible chains, Solana, and, there's a bunch of them out there. And the other way to look at it is like, the block reward doesn't expire for another 115 years or something like that. So we have 115 years to figure out what the problem, what to do about the block reward running out is. And 115 years. I hope all of us on this call are still alive, but I don't know what the odds are of that. So there's basically, I think, don't worry about it. It's that far into the future at this point. There'll probably be even better technology and maybe even better cryptocurrencies 115 years from now when the block reward runs out. So.
Okay, thanks for your response.
I have a question for somebody else. I don't want this to be the Roger Ver question hour, but so Derek McGill is someone whose writings I've really enjoyed over the years, and he kind of was a bit more leaning towards BSV after the split there. I just kind of love to hear his general take on where he sees the ecosystem in general, and just where his head is at in regards to all of that. If he's willing and open to share his thoughts on that.
Yeah. Hey, Roger. Good to hear from you. My support for BSV, I think a lot of people took it as controversial because they thought that I was suggesting something that I wasn't. I wasn't making the claim that Craig and Calvin are good actors necessarily, or that Craig is Satoshi, or that everything they're doing is above board. I think that there's a lot of reasons to be skeptical of BSV. But the thing I appreciated was I think they had a good understanding of the problems that led to the original block size limit in Bitcoin and why that never got raised. And I think part of the issue is once the limit isn't put in place, the incentives are to keep it in place. And I think it's very, very difficult to move against that. I think we saw that with Bitcoin. And so I think that scaling now when you don't really need it is something that should be done across all chains. When the network is small, when you think you have abundant capacity, you should already be moving towards being in a place where you make these optimizations now before they get big, before the chain starts to ossify, before there's a lot of political resistance to doing things like this. And so I guess that's my biggest concern for Bitcoin Cash is I'm skeptical long term that when the time comes, or if the time comes to scale further, that we won't run into the same issue that we ran into with Bitcoin Core.
Those are arguments I'm very, very sympathetic with. I guess I just wish that they hadn't absolutely destroyed BSV's reputation by suing every single major business in the space. That's my biggest gripe there. Anyhow, thanks for the good insight.
Yeah, I think this is a really good point too. I've seen a few mentioned talks about this, about, what happens when blocks are filling up and we've got 32 megabytes. Of course, at a certain point before that, the BCH community will hopefully already have raised the blocks. But just the thought process of somehow changing the logic so that it's actually programmed in. I think this is an interesting topic to be had, though, and I think that, if this could be programmed in so that when block sizes are going up, that automatically the block size would then increase at a certain point. Because, this is something that concerns me, I have to say. I don't think this is going to happen for another 5 to 10 years, probably closer to 10 years. But the issue is when adoption happens, it's going to be exponential. We can see this over the last year with Sunny. I'm sure you've witnessed this yourself, my friend, is just how quickly it explodes. And for example, if this was to explode in India, in just one Indian city, let's just say in Mumbai, if it was to really take on there, then the on-chain transactions could just tremendously ramp up. And also with Kim.com's file shop that's releasing. So I think we may run into this problem again really, really quickly. I think when it hits, it will be just out of nowhere. And another chance for a chain split. I think no one here wants that, right? That's the worst thing that can happen. So it'd be nice if we could already, think of something, how to create an algorithm to sort this out for us.
Yeah, something that I think people forget, especially big blockers, is that the early history of Bitcoin, the idea that we were not going to raise the block size would have been like the most laughable thing imaginable. Nobody was talking about it, with the exception of maybe one person, Peter Todd, who sort of started bringing it up in 2012. The idea that we were just going to put a hard cap at 1 megabyte would have been insane. Everybody knew we were going to raise the block size. And there were a small handful of voices saying, we need to go ahead and do it. We need to go ahead and do it because if we don't do it now, we're going to run into a problem. And one of the problems we're going to run into is we're going to have massive growth and it's going to be too late to do it. I think the thing that those voices didn't understand is the degree to which the pressure would increase not to raise the block size by the time that people actually were considering doing it. And so I'm just very scared to see the possibility that the big block community will make the same mistake and won't think that just because everybody seems to agree now, or there's no bad actors in the community trying to sway opinions to the other way, that's going to stay the way it is now for forever. I think we're potentially going to run into the same situation we did with Bitcoin.
Guys, I will just say. Oh, sorry.
I just want to quickly disagree with that. I think at the time when that the BTC BCH split happened, the lie was that the increasing block size was a dangerous thing. Now, we've been through that already, and we know that it's not a dangerous thing. So that can't hold anymore. We have too much information. It's been disproven. So it would be counterintuitive for the BCH community to take that step when that was the reason it was created in the first place.
Sherry, I want to say I love your positivity. I've listened to you speaking a few times, and I really think you're an asset to the community. There's far too much negativity in the crypto space, and you are a beacon of light. And I've got to say, I think you're naive, and I think you're very optimistic, and I think that's wonderful. I don't agree because I think that it's the real reason that the 1 megabyte block wasn't lifted wasn't because there was a genuine belief that it was going to cause issues. I really don't believe that. I think that this is an intentional sabotage of Bitcoin. And if we accept that that's true, maybe it's not, but if we accept that it's true, that it was an intentional sabotage, then it will happen again.
Yeah, there's really, I don't think there's a good reason to believe that most of these people seriously thought that an increase from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte was dangerous. I think that was a very minority opinion.
But my argument is, I'm not saying that there aren't nefarious forces out there. I'm just saying that one's already been used. But, that could go with any community, any coin, any financial institution. There's always going to be the risk of nefarious forces moving in. So I don't think anyone's immune from that, regardless.
Yeah, I think that was the point Derek made, though, is that they could do it again if we don't scale this to be ready for the world.
Yeah, my point is, you shouldn't be optimistic that the philosophical ideals of your community are going to remain unchanged. I think having been part of various movements in the libertarian movement, you see these things, they get watered down over time. New people come in who don't care about the same things you do. Bad actors come in who are able to use the ideas that you think are important and sort of use them to sabotage your movement. I think that happens all the time, and we just need to be aware of that. And Bitcoin Cash is a very small thing right now comparatively, but I do think that the revolutionary implications of a truly decentralized digital cash that anyone can use at any time around the world for fractions of a penny is very dangerous to the state. And we need to be aware of what happens when Bitcoin Cash takes off a little bit, and then someone starts looking at it and saying, "Oh, wait, this is the thing that was actually really a threat all that time ago when Bitcoin was first released." maybe we need to start, messing around with this too. I would say, the degree to which you can remove the human decision making from the process is a good thing, and part of that includes, scaling now while you still can, so that way when the time comes when you really need that space, it's already been done.
It's a quick question. Are there any developers, Bitcoin Cash developers in the chat? Can anyone see any? Because for me, this is, I think we need to take the politics out of Bitcoin Cash. And the thing is, when that blockchain, the block size goes up or has to go up, this is a political decision. And we need to remove that. I really think we should remove that now, today, if it's possible, and be working towards that solution as soon as possible. Because I hope Sherry's right, and she might be. No one can say, but I have my doubts. And I would rather take away that possibility so that when the blocks are full, that it just automatically, the block size grows. And the question is, can it be done?
What I wanted to say that you just said a few seconds ago that your worry is if India explodes into more merchant adoption and we have a lot of transactions, then we have to worry. Then I would say better everybody start getting worried, because India is going to explode. There will be too many merchants, and get ready for the solution before the problem comes, please.
Yes, exactly. And this is, I'm totally with you, Sunny. And you're doing, in such a short period, you have generated more buzz for the Bitcoin Cash community than I think anyone, even Roger Bear, maybe. It's been crazy. It's been wonderful to watch.
Yeah. Sherry just mentioned that in Australia, they don't want the paper money by 2024. That's just 2 years from now. I don't know how, but that's the perfect time to actually pump in that whole thing and make everybody aware about BCH.
Absolutely. By the way, Sherry, what time is it with you? It must be quite early in the morning.
It's almost 5 a.m.,
Okay.
So is it late at night or early in the morning? That's the real question.
It's late at night for me. I need to get some sleep, but I saw that you guys were on, so I jumped in.
Yeah, sorry for the timing. I really wanted also Jason to be able to make it if he wanted to come, and also like Cheap Lightning in Japan. I was looking there for the perfect time where it meets the most time zones. I also arranged it for when my 2 kids are in bed, so I could actually focus on this. And I was thinking that there was going to be maybe 5, 6, 7 people. I have to say I'm totally blown away that we've got, it seems, if I'm correct, I can't see the actual number, but I think 188. 188 people.
191. So
that's it. And it looks like Cheap Lightning is here. I just saw the cat picture. So yes, we've got a Cheap Lightning is that's fantastic. Let's invite him to speak. But I'm really blown away by how many people are here. This is, as I said, wasn't expected at all. And I think what I'll do just to the idea for this first meeting was just to be for 1 hour. But with so many people here, I think I'll create some polls about maybe just talking as a community consensus how often the frequency should be of such meetings. Because for me, I think too often, maybe there's only going to be a few people turning up. Not often enough, it gets a little bit boring. So to just find that perfect amount of time between meetings, because I think it's really fantastic when we see so many people turning up at the same time and talking about Bitcoin Cash and getting enthused about it. It's really, really, really wonderful.
Yeah, and if we grow big enough, then maybe something like this will just go 24/7, where people could always hop in and jump and talk about what the latest exciting thing happening in the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem is. And I see Mark Lamb, the CEO of CoinFlex, just hopped in here as well, and just really exciting to see more than 200 people in the chat here now. So and I think a lot of us are into Bitcoin really, really early. I'm 2011. I think Derek and Sherry are real early. I know Cheap Lightning is as well. So a lot of us are the original Bitcoiners that wanted this, peer-to-peer cash for the world that would replace the dollar and the euro and the yen and put people in charge of their own money instead of politicians being in charge of their money.
I hear, Roger, you said Mark Lamb is here. And whenever I hear Mark, I have one repeat question for you. When is CoinFlex, FlexUSD integrating FlexUSD with Bitcoin.com wallet? Merchants need it.
Right, let me try and get Mark Lamb on the stage.
Yeah, I think the big issue is that he needs us to support Smart BCH and the Bitcoin.com wallet, which is coming soon. The team is hard at work at that. So I think that it's not Mark's fault that it's not there yet. It's Bitcoin.com's delay on Smart BCH integration.
Well,
know who to blame.
And for those that were wondering why Mark didn't join us, Mark Dice, he said he's making lunch at the same time, so he's just enjoying listening to all of this, and we'll let him have his lunch there. But again, watch his videos, you will see that they're fantastic. And I'll ask for his permission to tell one other little story that he told me previously, but it really is, I think, eye-opening in regards to what's causing some of the delays in the actual adoption of cryptocurrency. But
this sounds interesting.
I want to make sure I have his permission to tell that part of the story. But
okay,
you can, yeah.
Yeah, just so everyone's aware again, it should be quite clear there's a recording sign on this Spaces, but this is being recorded. The idea is hopefully people will speak just freely and openly and with humor, whatever. It's not to catch people out. It's just so that people that couldn't make it today can watch this, and it's also to help just snowball it, to make people really see and feel that, hey, this Bitcoin Cash community is not dead. Many people in the Bitcoin community say this, and then it's the shitcoin, it's dying. Well, it's bullshit. The community is alive and really working on creating amazing solutions, and it's growing. And so that's why I thought by recording this, by allowing people to just tune in onto this afterwards, I thought would be a great thing for Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, thank you for your efforts in putting this together. I'm really glad you did. And yeah, Bitcoin Cash is alive and well to anyone who thinks it's dead, or anyone who thinks it's not actively being worked on, actively being improved, actively being built on and developed on and growing in transactions per second. Even the smart Bitcoin Cash, the smart BCH ecosystem. I mean, if you just look at transactions per amount of time, it's now surpassed 1 per second, which is a number that took Bitcoin years and years and years to get to. So Smart BCH is getting to it in just, kind of, I think it's been a little over 6 months of being around, 9 months of being around. It's already getting to these metrics. And so, yeah, I mean, BCH is got one of the healthiest ecosystems and healthiest I would say that one of the healthiest communities in crypto, because a lot of the crypto communities are actually heavily VC funded tokens, where those VCs don't actually, even if they believe in the tokens, they don't have the ability to hold on to them forever. They've got LPs they have to pay back, and in some cases they say they're a venture fund, but they're actually more of a hedge fund, so they actually need to pay them back. In the case of Bitcoin Cash, it's a lot of people, people like Roger and others in this call, but also, a lot of just early people to crypto and people who believe in crypto and hold a little bit of crypto. And these people don't have to sell. They don't have any pressure, and they believe in it not because they're trying to effectively pump something up to get mark-to-market gains on an LP position. They actually just believe in it because they think it's great technology. And that's what makes a healthy community, because we're here, not for the short term. We're here for the long haul. There's basically nothing that could happen, no price point that could go down, no circumstance that could really make a lot of us, I speak for myself, and Roger, I think, is in this boat as well. And I think a lot of the people here on this call are in this boat, where there's really nothing that would make us not believe in Bitcoin Cash. And that's the power of...
Can I jump in and disagree, Mark?
Go ahead.
So I think for myself, and I hope a lot of the people on the call, the goal here isn't the promotion of Bitcoin Cash. The goal is the promotion of the software and financial tools that allow each individual to have control over their own money and not need permission from politicians to do what they want with their own money. And we see Bitcoin Cash as the best tool to achieve that goal. But tomorrow, if some better tool came along, I would be busy supporting that. And I hear some people occasionally keep, you'll never support anything but Bitcoin Cash. And I can make the argument that Bitcoin Cash is the original Bitcoin that I got involved in. But as far as ticker symbols go, I clearly did switch. I switched from BTC to BCH. And if something even better than BCH comes along that I think has an even better chance of stripping away power from governments around the world to control people's money, I'll be busy cheerleading for that as well, because the goal is to get a separation of money and state, where individuals are in charge of their money instead of politicians. And Bitcoin Cash in the world today is the very best tool that I think the world has to achieve that. And that's why I'm busy, promoting Bitcoin Cash. And I hope that's why you are here as well. Or I know some of you are.
Hi guys, how you doing? Just a quick question there. What's your position on the IHIs, the individual health identifiers that the pharmaceutical companies and large corporate are pursuing at the moment?
I'm sorry, the connection and the accent made it a little bit hard. Can you restate the question one more time, please? What about the
your position on the IHI, the individual health identifiers being implemented by the pharmaceutical companies and the large pharma
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't followed it super closely because that's not really a thing in the world that I'm the parts of the world that I'm in. But I think you own yourself. And you can decide.
On a database, it's not a thing you'd be involved in, no?
What I would say to this though, and you know, I think everyone here is anyone that's into crypto is very much for individual liberty. And I don't 100% agree with Roger. I'm not a full-scale libertarian. I think I can't imagine quite how things would work without any sort of hierarchy whatsoever. But I do believe that.
A fashionista.
But no, but if I could finish, but I think at the very least, I agree with this part, and I'm sure that everyone here agrees with this, that the government or any sort of power system, that it should be as fair and balanced as possible, and the government should have as little possible control in our lives as possible. And but with this particular question, I'm finding the link to crypto or to Bitcoin Cash is lacking. I'm not really seeing the link there.
The link, it would be a digital record on a blockchain. It's just an identifier.
Ah, okay. Now I'm with you.
Yeah, I support people making their own choices when it comes to money and health.
No, I totally get you can make your own choices when it comes to money, but when it comes to digital health, bigger questions have to be asked.
But do you mean that they should be open for everyone?
I don't think Bitcoin Cash aims to do that. It aims to be money. So I think that's another conversation maybe for a different blockchain, wouldn't you say, guys?
Well, actually, if I might step in. Oh, sorry, Roger. After you.
Go for it. No, I've talked enough. Please go for it.
Something I can't take credit for this idea. I read about it the other day. Something I found interesting was that maybe not on the main blockchain, but right now in the healthcare systems around the world, there are privacy things and otherwise. But you know, all these institutions have these centralized security systems that anyone can access. You know, if they were smart enough to hack into it or whatever else. What if we created just a simple way, be it on Smart BCH or otherwise, obviously this is a future technology, but that your private keys are the only thing that can unlock your digital health records?
Oh, right, yeah, this is an amazing idea. I thought this was the goal anyway. I mean, for me, the reason why I find crypto so exciting is the fact that, for me, everything, my entire records should be stored on the blockchain, including my grades at school or at university. And this should be, of course, encrypted then. So only I can unlock this, and also only I can prove that it belongs to me. I think that this is fantastic. And this is a great thing about the blockchain is it can be used for anything. You know, it doesn't just have to be used for P2P cash. Anything can be stored there and encrypted there.
And Phoenix, one more thing, just want to point it just on the side to respond to the other thing you said. I'm actually more along the lines with you in terms of I'm somewhere between conservative and libertarian, that I think we need some form, but I think the goal should be we should aim to have no government, because then we are really actively thinking about how can we limit the powers of the government as most as possible.
Absolutely agree with you. Couldn't put it better myself.
Yeah.
Although this thing is popping up in India, like government of Maharashtra, like they have decided to use this technology to issue caste certificates. Caste you mean to say like resident certificates in some of the places in Maharashtra. So this thing is popping up in India also. Like some of the government, they try to issue the education certificate, merit certificate, and they are using blockchain technology to store your health, secure your data and your like credentials over there.
Harsh, are you in Bombay right now? In Maharashtra?
Yeah, yes.
So on Sunday, please come to the Bitcoin Cash meetup at La La Land. We invite you.
Thank you.
Yeah? Send me the credentials and I'll just make sure you get the invite. Please, anyone that's listening, know it's any business owners. It's a perfect time for Bombay, actually India, to onboard some businesses, and that's how we're going to grow. All friends and families own businesses. If we don't own one, recommend it and we'll be there.
I think you cut out there at the end there, Sonny.
Yeah, hi, sorry.
Actually, back on the healthcare stuff, maybe I'll add a little bit more to that. I remember in the earliest days of Bitcoin, when BitPay was just getting started, one of the things that they thought that people might actually use Bitcoin for was to pay for health-related, like medical services that you might not want people knowing that you need. So like examples they gave is like, you know, a woman's going to get plastic surgery of some sort. Maybe she doesn't want everybody to see that on her, you know, credit card statement or her bank wire transfer. Or if people are going to get, you know, treatment for an STD or something, they don't need to broadcast to everybody that, you know, handles their payments. That's the case. And so they thought that people would use it for privacy in regards to their medical stuff. And I think it's nice that people can have the option. And I just saw a notification the host is having connection issues.
Yeah, I saw that too.
The rest of us are here still. Okay, good. And
actually, Mark is here. Mark, You want to say something, man? I just see him on the list.
We need to set him as a speaker in order for him to be able to speak, and I think only the host can do that. But while we wait for the host,
I can speak.
I think we're talking about Mark Falzone, but maybe not. Mark,
Mark Falk. Yeah. Falzone, yeah.
Mark, we just need to request a speaker in this 2 minutes.
Hey, Mark.
But Mark Falzone can't reply. But I'll tell one more story while we wait for the host to come back.
I'd love to hear from Mark Falzone.
I think people will like another story. We were talking about how fast the transactions have been rising on smart Bitcoin Cash to where at sometimes the day it's like more than a second a transaction. I remember, I think it was January of 2012, and I was at CES in Las Vegas with the BitPay guys helping man the BitPay booth. And way back then, when before blockchain.com was .com, it was blockchain.info, but they had this really cool globe that was connected. It would show all the different Bitcoin nodes around the world that it was connected to. And every time there was a transaction, you would hear this beep, and the globe would spin around showing which node it heard about the transaction from first. And we had this up on a big giant projector at CES, and we had to wait and wait and wait. And like we would be so excited every time somewhere in the world there would be a Bitcoin transaction, and it would go beep, and the map would spin around, and we were hoping. All right, let's see if I'm a better host at this. So bear with me. It's my first time ever to do this. Requests. Here we go. All right, I've approved anybody that's...
Hey, Roger. Just have a quick question for you. What are your thoughts on Monero?
I love Monero, and bear with me one moment while I share the link in all the different groups that I was just there, because I think he set the other one to end within 1 hour, so it just like kicked everybody out at exactly an hour is what happened there. So, but here, we'll get part 2 going here. So in regards to Monero, I think is absolutely, it's amazing and fantastic and wonderful, but
Roger,
it's so
it might
good.
be an idea to have a couple of co-hosts as well, just to vet the rooms, because we tend to get a lot of trolls on these platforms too, as in like comedians and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I just I don't know if that was Sherry's voice I just heard, but I just sent you a co-host invite. So, and I'll do that some more as well. So yeah, Monero is so good that governments have preemptively banned it, I think is the only problem. But I've held Monero since it was about $1, and as the Monero fans know, other than that voting accident, I would still have it all. So Monero is great, but governments have preemptively banned it. You're not allowed to trade it on any exchange in Japan, Korea, Singapore, like a bunch of countries have already banned it, and that's the big problem. And Bitcoin Cash has CashFusion that gives it pretty darn good privacy, especially if you're using it with the reusable payment addresses. Like you can have similar-ish ballpark privacy to a Monero, but you don't have all the stigma that Monero already has with governments already trying to ban it. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've seen, but Brian Armstrong, he did an interview. It was about a year ago, and he said that he wanted to include Monero on Coinbase, but he didn't want to do it now because of regulations and whatnot. But he said it will come eventually. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Another example. So like Monero isn't on Coinbase. Why the heck not? Because Monero is so incredibly awesome that governments are putting pressure on all these businesses not to. The same reason that Monero is not in blockchain and Coinbase and BitPay and all these places. So it's like a much harder uphill battle with Monero because it's so good. So I think the idea is to make Bitcoin Cash almost as good as Monero with as the small blockers have to say, layer 2 solutions. So
last question. I just forgot. You're a big investor in BitPay. Do you see Monero being implemented into BitPay in the next couple of years, or is it off the table?
I don't talk to the guys regularly at BitPay, and I help them with their seed money to get everything started. But for the same exact regulatory reasons, I don't think we're likely to see Monero in BitPay anytime soon. Although I'd love to see it included. Like I'm not opposed to it in any way. Like Monero's, like I said, Monero is so good that it's preemptively banned from all these platforms. So. Yeah, really frustrating. So don't be shy. I'm busy. There are some Telegram groups, and people please share this link around. This one doesn't have a 1 hour time limit, so we can go as long as people want. And I added some other co-hosts here already as well. So
okay, Roger, you said it had a 1 hour time limit. Was that is that something that was during when I set up the room then?
I think that's what happened, and then we hit the 1 hour limit, and boom, everybody got
okay. So, okay, yeah, sure. That's annoying,
right? So
Roger, do you want to put another co-host? You might want to put Fiendish Crypto's co-host. So it just means you get more people being able to talk in the room.
Let me do this as well.
Hello, Roger.
Hello.
Yeah, it's Nuren here. So I just want to have just throw this question. So, because I've seen it's part of the vast development and then what we are to expect from vast. So, I think we have crypto cards coming to us because this is going to be something huge, definitely coming from, let's say, the African countries, the African nation, especially here in Nigeria. Do you know that right now you cannot spend above $20 with your bank card, like be it Mastercard, be it Visa card? You cannot, let's say, spend any higher than $20 right in Nigeria if you have a bank. So, but I think crypto cards definitely are going to change the game. Imagine we have cards from Bitcoin.com, where you can be able to top up and then buy anything without any limit. I think this is going to be a very good game changer for us here, especially in Nigeria and other African countries as well. So this is one of the few projects that I'm just happy to like, because Binance have cards, but then it's not available in most of the African countries. Like Crypto.com has cards and it's also not available in the African countries. So I don't know, how is Bitcoin.com trying to see their cards are also available in the African countries as well?
I have to admit, I don't really know what you're talking about. Cats? Like, are these NFT cat tokens or something?
Cards,
no,
like
crypto cards.
Oh, cards. I'm sorry. I heard cats the whole time, and I didn't know if it was like... So you're asking when people can pay with their cards to buy crypto in the Bitcoin.com wallet there? I don't know. I hope some local businesses can pick up the slack and be the onboard and off ramps from Bitcoin Cash to actual wallets rather than accounts there. And I apologize for misunderstanding what you were saying. It was confusing.
Yeah, maybe, no, I think I will just type it in the Bitcoin Cash group. So.
Okay, and then I've added 10 is the maximum number of speakers here, and there are other people requesting. So like we should, if you speak up, and if not, then we'll add other speakers there too. But there's love to see just how many people are in here. It's really fantastic. So
there is over 300 people in here, and also I need to check this again to see if it seems pretty crazy to me. In the last call, Twitter said to me that there was over 1,000 people that showed up.
Fantastic.
That's insane. I mean, I guess this has been shared around, but my Twitter account is relatively new. It's just, I think, a month or 6 weeks old. So to go, so quickly, to have so many people, obviously it's been spread around the communities. They're really listening. It's fantastic.
Roger, what's your personal view on this bull run and the price action with Bitcoin Cash? Like, it's really a great deal. Personally, I think Bitcoin Cash, is on every exchange. It's on, top of Google Finance, Yahoo Finance. I'm just wondering, just like everybody else, this bull run, we didn't see the price action show that.
Yeah, I think the only problem Bitcoin Cash has is basically a marketing program. Like, Bitcoin Cash is awesome. A real strong argument can be made that it's the original Bitcoin and that BTC isn't. But the BTC maximalist guys have done such a great job on the anti-promotional site of like tricking everybody to think that Bcash is just a scam or that I created it. For everybody listening, I had absolutely zero to do with the creation of Bitcoin Cash. So like you even see, Cointelegraph put out an article the other day saying that I created Bitcoin Cash. I had zero to do with it, absolutely nothing. And when I saw that the Bitcoin had like basically refused to upgrade the block size to even from 1 megabyte to 2 megabytes, there was zero chance that it could become money for the world at that point. So I looked at all the other cryptocurrencies out there. I looked at the Moneros and the Zcash and the Ethereums and this and that. Bitcoin Cash seemed like it was the one that had the best chance of becoming money for the entire world. So I switched my promotional efforts over towards Bitcoin Cash. And I think, everybody that's listening to this, let's get out there, give all of our friends $1 in Bitcoin Cash, show them how easy it is, explain the difference between a wallet and an account, and that you can't really use Bitcoin unless you're using an account at this point because the fees are too high to do anything else with. So it's just a marketing problem with Bitcoin Cash. Other than that, it is awesome.
I think, Roger, you should also swap Bitcoin Cash with some pizzas and mark this event as BCS Pizza Days.
I just want to quickly say that, I was into Bitcoin Cash before Roger Ver, so I was there.
So you created this, Sherry, huh?
But it's a true story. Roger,
she's not joking.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, she was there. And there were a bunch of people in Bitcoin Cash before I came, and that's part of what attracted me to it. I saw a lot of old-time Bitcoiners they'd given up on BTC.
I'm holding from the hard fork, whatever I did, I'm basically holding it till now.
Yeah, so there you go. So I'm a latecomer to Bitcoin Cash for a lot of the people that are on the call. I was early to back when it had the ticker symbol BTC, but when the ticker symbol switched to BCH, I was a little bit slow in figuring out that that's where I should be focusing my attention. With the 343 people on the call again, even though we had to switch links for where we're doing this. So.
That's amazing. By the way, Roger, I have to say, the amount of shit you get from the crypto community. I mean, it's impressive that you're still there and showing your face, to be honest. I think most people would have just said, you know what, I've had enough of this shit. I'm going to go on and live my life. So thank you for sticking out.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. I think a lot of the ones on Twitter, I think there's two things. Like, a big percentage of them are literally just bots or paid trolls that are just supposed to say negative things about Bitcoin Cash, no matter what I tweet about. If I tweet about something completely different, not related to crypto, they'll still put anti-Bitcoin Cash comments because that's what the bot is programmed to do, or that's what the human is paid to do. And then the other people posting the negative comments about Bitcoin Cash that are real people, they're ones that are so weak-minded that they've been influenced by all the bots and the people that are paid to say anti-Bitcoin Cash stuff. So it's just monkey see, monkey do stuff. They see everybody else saying it, so they repeat it too. And so it's so clear. All you have to do is use BTC and then use BCH. It is clear as clear can be which one works better as money. And I think that most of these BTC maximalists, they've never even made a Bitcoin transaction, or they've almost never made a Bitcoin transaction, or they'd realize Bitcoin Cash works, BTC doesn't. Like I had the first non-illegal e-commerce website, any sort of major e-commerce website accepting Bitcoin for payments. I stopped accepting Bitcoin because Bitcoin stopped working for payments. It's not that I decided, I'm tired of this. It literally stopped working for my business. It didn't work anymore. And it wasn't just me. Microsoft stopped accepting Bitcoin. Expedia stopped accepting Bitcoin. Steam started accepting Bitcoin. And they all specifically said that it was the problems caused by the full blocks, the slow transactions with the high fees and the unreliable transactions. So I wasn't the only one. I was in the same group with all these others. So.
That's what really frustrates me so much is that, I'm a big gamer, or at least I was before I had kids. Now finding the time for anything is pretty tough. But the fact that the BTC guys actually think they're on success. Bitcoin used to be accepted by Steam. This is by far the biggest gaming platform. This is so huge. And you think that was, if I remember correctly, when they actually stopped accepting BTC, that was just at the point where they were really starting to allow all the indie games onto Steam. And since then, you think how important that would have been if crypto was accepted onto Steam with all the indie games and also utilizing the blockchains in clever ways. Maybe they would have actually found a real reason for NFTs. Who knows? So Bitcoin has gone so backwards since then. And I love the fact that Bitcoin Cash still exists and that dream stays alive. And, and it's wonderful. Thank God for people like Roger for taking the shit daily to ensure that it, just keeps on going. And all the devs, I don't think we've got any devs here. But it's just kind of a shame because they're obviously, without them, there wouldn't be Bitcoin Cash.
So if I might step in real quick, going back to, our, not our advertising problem, our marketing problem and all this. There's a couple things regarding bull market. We need to have better marketing. I mean, it's a problem because if price is only going down, people get skeptical about accepting further business, even if they can instantly transfer to a stable coin that are not really so stable anymore or never were.
Stable-ish coin.
Stable-ish. But this is really the best time to build because in a down market. Nobody's spending their Bitcoin. No one's spending their currencies. And the other thing is, a lot of people you talk to on the street, they don't even know that businesses like AMC accept Bitcoin Cash. Like the other day, I was just in one of my card groups because I like being in the card community. I'm one of those people. I know. But yeah, no one there knew that. Oh, you can go to Gucci, you can go to AMC, you can go to any of these places. You can spend Bitcoin Cash like right now. It's like, yeah, I just bought my AMC tickets 2 days ago with Bitcoin Cash. It's like that's incredible. And you start, and you just interacting with your local communities, showing, as Roger said, like, just send people 10 cents, send people $1. I do that every day. And people were like, that was instant, like that? It just arrived. I was like, yeah. And but then they asked, like, well, why not? Why Bitcoin Cash? Why not Bitcoin? Isn't that what everyone uses? It's like, well, we can try it. We can try using Bitcoin, but look at what the fees are. It's not peer-to-peer electronic cash. And just going off of just little stuff like that, little by little, you can build up these communities. But also, just like Margaret is doing, Ryan's doing, Sonny's doing, you look at all these businesses that they want to start accepting crypto. They just have never been approached. They don't know how. They don't know that, it's actually pretty easy nowadays, either with a service like Prompt.cash or BitPay or Coinbase Commerce. And it's like, there's two businesses this week I've onboarded. One really cool. I cannot wait because they're making 2 custom Bitcoin Cash products too. I can't wait to announce that one once it's complete. But like these guys, they didn't know that it was really easy to set up, and they're willing to put in the work to actually implement into their sites and then promote the product. So it's just really, we got to do the ground building work. We also can't let we have to show the technology work. We can't just...
Yeah, and I'm totally with you. The marketing here is something that absolutely needs to be better in the Bitcoin Cash community. Just generally, I think, of course, the tech needs to grow. We need to, move on with that and make the UI and user interface as good as possible. But I really think a focus just on positivity, on really showing that it works, on not doing too much, focusing on the pissing contest. I could go on about that forever, but what I actually see is there's 3 people here who've had their hands up for a long time. So maybe we could let someone else speak. There's the Ham fan, or I think...
Can I just start a little bit? Sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Thanks so much. I live in Dublin, and I can see here only 3 ATM that you can cash out from any cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin Cash is there. But there is some other people that they wants to do the same thing, like they wants to have a crypto payments or something for their stores, but they don't know what to do. I think there is a huge chance to do something in this contest. I don't know what you guys think, but everyone, they're interested about cryptocurrency, but they don't know where to start.
Well, I mean, many businesses, just as one quick point, use the Verifone payment terminal is about the most widely used one in the world, at least in America. I'm pretty sure throughout Europe as well. And Verifone last year announced a partnership with BitPay. So any business that has a Verifone terminal for your credit card or otherwise, they can accept crypto in a matter of, I think, minutes. They just have to go to their online portal and enable it.
Yes, and also use.cash is very handy for merchants trying to adopt cryptocurrencies.
The Ham fam, you wanna?
Yeah, thanks. It's really good that you guys arranged this today. I mean, I've been a Bitcoin Cash holder for probably 4 years, and probably it was about a year ago I started to try to understand the technology itself. And I feel like it's a great initiative you're doing this, because what it feels like day in, day out when you're on Twitter and other social media is that there's so many projects that are, being communicated a lot about the advantages. But I think there's probably about a year or so between last April and maybe a few months ago when Roger and Sunny and a few other people started posting videos about the great work they were doing and the network upgrades. So I really encourage the more information that can be shared and coordinated. There's a lot of people out there that I think would really support the project if they just understood sort of the direction a little bit better and had more consistent information. So these Twitter spaces, meetups, maybe at some point we could do a convention like the Bitcoin group do. I really encourage any of those folks.
Right? It's the convention's November the 12th in St. Martin's.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean,
so it's
where
coming.
do you find out about that?
And speaking of spreading the word here, if I can ask, we have almost 400 people in here already. If you guys can take the link to this Twitter space, share it on Twitter, share it on your Facebook, share it wherever if there's Telegram groups you're in, let's get more people in here so you can hear, hey, there is a passionate group of Bitcoin Cash fans that want to make this peer-to-peer electronic cash for the entire world so people have control over their own money. Because if we're all just talking to the existing choir, that doesn't spread it to new people. So please share a link to this group so we can get, instead of there's 400 people in here, let's get 1,400 people in here and show like, hey, Bitcoin Cash people, there's a lot of us, because we know that it's about more than just speculation. It's about empowering individuals to have control over their own money. So please go ahead and share the link to this Twitter space.
Yeah, do this. I mean, I really get the impression that a lot of Bitcoin Cash people sit in their rooms, and their interactions with the community is just via text. And I really think that the difference when you hear people's voices, when you hear about how passionate people are, which just cannot work with text. You can't see that, you can't feel it. And I'm absolutely convinced that having a regular meetup it will really show everyone, hey, there is something here. This is an amazing thing. When you go onto Reddit, for example, there's so many negative people about Bitcoin Cash. And then it may make people question, hey, is this actually very sensible? Maybe I'll just buy Bitcoin anyway. Hey, the numbers are going to go up, right? Yeah, until they don't. So I'm really so happy to see so many people here. And I think this is the first time we've done this. And I can only imagine that this must snowball, right?
All right, so let's get through the other speakers real quick, just to get you guys to have their hands up, just so I don't want them left out. Sparkle, 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 or whatever the emoji is. Before
I just have one for Roger. So, Roger, I saw you a couple of years ago. I think you were talking about the Bitcoin.com wallet, or you might have been talking about another wallet. You were talking about privacy solutions on Bitcoin Cash. It might have been CashFusion. I'm not sure. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so right now today on your desktop, you can go and download Electron Cash, and it has CashFusion built right into it. And it's really, really neat. The way it works is it takes all of your Bitcoin Cash and puts it all together in a big giant transaction. The transaction might have 100 inputs and 100 outputs, and maybe 5 of the inputs belong to you and 8 of the outputs belong to you, and they're all for different amounts. And the way the math works out for this transaction is that there's literally more potential combinations of your Bitcoin Cash going into that transaction and then coming it back out. There's more combinations than there are atoms in the entire universe. And so it makes it so that these blockchain analytics companies are trying to follow your coins on the blockchain. They have no idea where it goes. And I really want to get this built directly into the Bitcoin.com wallet. That's not done yet. That's going to be a challenge. But what you can do right now today, and I've goofed around with this a little bit myself, it's not the most elegant solution, but it works, is you can take the seed that you're using from your Bitcoin.com wallet and you put that same seed into an Electron Cash wallet and let the Electron Cash wallet keep fusing. And the downside is your Bitcoin.com wallet will show a bunch of transactions, like money coming in and out of your wallet for more than you expect or less than you expect. But like the overall balance will always still show there. Occasionally
Roger,
you have to rescan for fun.
On that, I don't know if unless if it's changed in the last month or so. I've been actively testing that, and the balance that the Bitcoin.com wallet will show if you have CashFusion enabled can be massively different. I've seen swings of tens, or in one case over $100,000 equivalent, in swings in my balance that just was not accurate. I don't know if it's changed recently. Maybe it has, or maybe if you scan for funds, it'll update the balance properly. But it's a little bit of a wonky solution at the moment.
So for us diehard people, we can goof around with that wonky solution at the moment. Hopefully we'll have something more elegant in the future. But you're right, there's definitely room for improvement on that. But and then I think the reusable payment addresses are available in the latest version of the Electron Cash wallet as well. So hopefully we can get that working with the Bitcoin.com wallet and the Bitcoin Cash Register app as well, and all that other good stuff.
We need Bitcoin Cash Register app to have landscape mode. That's something that a lot of businesses have been asking about. Supposedly it's being worked on, though, I think.
Yeah, not worked on fast enough. I've been asking for a while myself. I might hire an outside company to do that, or if there's some developers on here that want to, bang it out, like it's all open source already anyhow. I'd be happy to send some Bitcoin Cash their way for someone that does
Same
that.
here. I'm willing to
become part of that.
Just quickly, guys, has anyone got the tweet for the St. Kitts meetup that you can post up into the nest? I couldn't find it myself.
I'll post it. Just give me one sec. And Justin, do you want to go ahead?
Somebody else said before about adoption and getting businesses onboarding and having trouble finding POSs. I was saying there are a ton of POS systems out there that are readily available, some open source, some not, some proprietary, that meet different people's needs. But if somebody does mostly online business and they're not technically competent enough to host their own like BTC base server or something, I use coin payments, and I try and get everyone I work with to use coin payments because it allows me to accept any shitcoin anyone wants to pay in, and it settles me in Bitcoin Cash. So what I want to hold is Bitcoin Cash. That's what I get, even if they're spending Dogecoin or Litecoin or whatever. I get the Bitcoin Cash. I could have it settled in fiat if I wanted to, but I choose not to. One question I had for Roger, you talk about money of the world and money for the world for the future. Do you think maybe the HODL mentality that is kind of infiltrated the crypto space as a whole is a detriment to progressing towards that future? And for example, I'm very fortunate to live in a very crypto-centric community in Manchester, New Hampshire, where I can buy my groceries with crypto. I pay my rent in crypto. Most of my day-to-day transactions with friends in my community can be done in crypto, and Bitcoin Cash is very prevalent here, as well as Monero and Zcash and other coins as well. But I was doing a transaction the other day with a friend at a market day, and he was paying me in Monero, and one of our resident maxis spoke up, why would you spend the good money instead of the bad money? And this mentality I see where people are looking at crypto as the quote-unquote good money to hold and wait on and not spend while you still have dollars to spend and get rid of, I almost feel like is detrimental towards working towards a utilization adoption of crypto as money instead of just as an investment tool for people to increase their net worth in US dollars. How do you feel about that mentality infesting the crypto community, and what do we do to counter it?
Yeah, I think that has kind of delayed some of the adoption, although I've heard I'll tell a story. So way back in 2011, I think the Winklevoss twins were going to invest in this company called BitInstant. Maybe some of the people on the call already know what BitInstant is. For those that don't, it was kind of like the very, very first time ever that in the U.S. and a few other countries it became easy-ish to get Bitcoin. You could go to 7-Eleven, Walgreens, CVS, and a bunch of other places with cash and have Bitcoin within half an hour. And so anyhow, the Winklevoss twins were going to make their investment in that. And I told them they should pay their investment money in Bitcoin. And they're like, no, we want to hold our Bitcoin, so we're going to give dollars. I'm like, no, just take the dollars that you would have used for the investment, buy more Bitcoin, and send the Bitcoin. And that's what I think people should do with any money, whether it's fiat or other cryptocurrencies. Just take the money that you think isn't as good and buy more of the money that you think is good, and then use that good money to pay for whatever that is that you need. And I'm sure you're part of the Free State Project as well. That was the very first group that's who I heard about the Bitcoin from for the first time. That was the very first group that I focused my outreach effort to. I went to PorkFest and gave everybody there. I could some Bitcoin and was sending the host of Free Talk Live Bitcoin to distribute to everybody there, because I knew libertarians would understand just how powerful of a tool this is as well.
Can I say something too? As I think hodling is great, and I think that's an essential function of a medium exchange, in the sense that when you receive money, you want to be able to spend it at any time in the future that you want to choose, rather than having to spend it early because the price is going down. So if the price is stable or the price is going up, that gives you the power to choose when you spend your money. I think the problem with the hodl mindset is more that there's this false dichotomy that's been set up where the maxis make the argument essentially that if Bitcoin is more usable as cash, it's not a store of value. And I think that's false. That's a stupid position. If the Bitcoin block size is raised, then it's not a store of value. And I think we could push back against that, but not undermine the idea that savings and capital accumulation is a great thing, and that more Bitcoiners with more wealth is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. It's the hold it's to be able to use in the future. Yes, the tricky thing is it's making the distinction between hodl as numbers go up, yay, numbers go down, boo. That seems to be what the majority of the community considers to be hodling, and but it's a good point to make that we should. Well, maybe it's good to make the distinction that hodl doesn't necessarily mean just for investment. It means also to so you can actually spend it elsewhere. You're not immediately exchanging it for a stable coin or cash or something else.
Well, the goal is to be able to use it at some point in the future, and but the problem with Bitcoin is they seem to have completely gotten rid of the idea that you should be able to use in the future. It's because it's not usable now, or not very usable now. Right. So
some of the issues that the narrative has shifted so that they've argued that the direction it goes is sort of opposite of what we expect now, right? So they said, it'll be useful as cash eventually. That's still part of the narrative. It's just not yet, or it is pretty with the Lightning until as Lightning gets better, it'll become more of a medium of exchange. But I think it's probably worth pointing out that at least given my very limited economic education, it's that's not the direction it goes. The direction it goes is something that starts out useful as a medium of exchange. And then as long as it remains useful as a medium of exchange, volatility goes down and it stops being a speculative asset, and then you can start using it as a store of value. And then it's not so much hodling as it is the price is going to go up a lot. It's no, I hodl it because I'm holding on to it because I know I'm going to be able to spend it later.
And we already saw if I can jump in, the historical economists, they all say exactly that. Things start out as a medium of exchange, and then they transform into also being used as a store of value. And that's what the theory says. But we already got to see that firsthand with Bitcoin in practice. Nobody was using Bitcoin as a store of value. They were using it as a medium of exchange on the Silk Road. And then on the Silk Road, they started using it as a medium of exchange in normal, non-illegal e-commerce. And then from there, people started saying, maybe I'll use this as a store of value as well. But it was very clear with the Silk Road, the medium of exchange came first. And I'm sorry, whoever I talked over a little bit to get that point out, but the Silk Road is proof of that.
So before the next person speaks, we've got an issue that we've got our speakers are full. Sherry's requesting, she was actually the co-host, but I can't invite anyone in because it's full. So could everyone that wants to speak, please put their hand up. And for anyone that doesn't put their hand up, I'm going to kick them out, and then I can add in, there's Sherry and a few others that would like to jump in.
But I just want to make one final point and then drop out. Yeah, but I just want to say, I think there's a difference between a hodling as in, it's my savings. I make money to save money and increase my net worth, versus hodling as an investment. And I look at the maxi community and people who are using crypto and Bitcoin as an investment and rallying around the hodl market cry for it, as they're not really the crypto community. They're the U.S. dollar community that's just latched onto crypto as an investment to increase their holding of U.S. dollars, because that's what they care about.
I don't think that matters so much. I mean, the people are going to use money for all sorts of things that we don't agree with. They're going to have all sorts of ideologies and mindsets about it, and some people are going to be totally committed to the idea of just holding an asset for the number to go up. And I don't think that is a problem in a free market. People are going to use things for all sorts of things, and we should just be happy that people are using it. I think the issue is that these people have decided that it doesn't really, like, that they can just hamstring the system and that nobody else who wants to use it matters. Bitcoin Cash, the great thing about it is that anyone who wants to use it as a tool to invest in, they can just hold it and we don't need to worry about it because we can still spend it. The problem with Bitcoin is they've set up a world where only one type of user gets to exist.
Yeah, exactly.
The best money is the most tolerance money. It's the money that's used by everybody: stupid people, smart people, bad people, good people.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Derek. But that depends on that use case. Like, for example, like there is an investment portfolio for people. Like, I have a risk appetite of X number of dollars. Then I will be investing X number of dollars for investing, and I have a risk appetite for X number of dollars. Then I will be using X number of cryptos or like fiat for spending. So that depends on user to user and use case to use case. Not, you can't distinguish that on the basis of crypto or on the basis of fiat. That totally depends on the use case that you are putting into and the value you are getting off from the chain or from the project or from the goods and services that you are consuming.
Roger, quick point. Could you add Sherry as co-host?
He may have stepped away for a second, but Fiendish, in the meantime, I sent
I'm adding her. I'm just figuring out the interface.
There you go. Because there's one... Yeah, just one. No, there's two people that are requesting to come in.
Fiendish, I sent you the link to the Bitcoin Cash 2022 conference. I sent it to Sherry too, so whoever wants to post. I can't, since I think only hosts can post, but if you want to post the link for everyone so they can follow along.
You are totally over-challenging me right now. I have no idea how to do that.
All right, well, it's Sherry's co-host. She can do it because I think she did it before.
Hey, nice.
There we go.
Thank you.
You know, I have something to say since the conference has been mentioned and Mark Falzon is listening. So, Mark, make sure whenever you deal with the hotel and the places, everybody should be able to book their hotel room with BCH. That's the key of the BCH conference. That's one important thing. We have to handle that.
I mean, we need to make sure that is in the press, and we need to make sure that is in everywhere, that hits every single press outlet, because I think that's a huge thing. And I really think that could go international press in a lot of places because, you know, a crypto convention that actually uses crypto, that must be a first, right?
Yes, Anshin Martin, I mean, you guys will actually, when I post it, I see so much. I've never seen so much negative posts in my life when we post about BCH, and BTC just gets with it. They post a guy buying ice cream, not showing his wallet, and everybody's like, yeah, and he gets 100 likes. We are posting proper videos, and we're like, proof of receipt, proof unedited video.
Yeah, we won't mention George here, right? We're keeping it positive, Sonny.
No, I'm just saying, but I've never seen, not because we are just now on a BCH chat, but I've never seen Bitcoin Cash negative talk any other cryptocurrency. And when we post how much it goes, it's really craziness. Before I used to get like, I'm really very hyper in my life and I used to go crazy about it. And now, and especially after a few beers, now I take it easy. I'm like, now it doesn't bother me anymore. I can only imagine Roger, how he must have coped with it. But oh my God, it's crazy. But I just actually nowadays started to text them and say, where are we complaining about anything? Now somebody says about investment and says, look, BCH, from 250 to 180. But look at you, fuck, 69,000 to 28,000. Now what's more hurting? You went bankrupt, technically, or you made people bankrupt. We did not.
Yeah, but you're right about the negativity on the BCH. It's really crazy. On I posted just there was someone asking about what's the best cryptocurrency or the best one to invest in, and I this year, and I just said, well, because of Kim.com's file shop that's releasing later this year, for me, Bitcoin Cash is the one to pick. And this post, I think, was deleted. The original post on cryptocurrency was deleted, but nevertheless, people were finding my post and downvoting it. So it was just at -5 or 6. I mean, it's not huge, but the point is that how are people even finding this to downvote it? So yeah, Bitcoin Cash has a lot of people, a lot of agents, a lot of people that are trying to shit on it.
Anybody speaks about utility, I never see their reply on it. Never. They only talk about price. They don't worry about themselves.
Sunny, next time you can quote Tesla, like from $1,100 to $660.
No, I don't like to quote anybody. You see, I believe in the betterment for Bitcoin Cash than to speak negative, because if I put my energy, I mean, I'm trying to change myself. So instead of fighting them, I want to use the same energy, doubling up our onboarding. It's easier to do that. But like you just now, a few minutes back, mentioned about the government introducing the 28% GST. But you see, it's so easy to talk, and so many people actually don't even understand. To be honest, I actually studied it. So when I'm not doing anything, I try to check the Indian laws, what they came up with. But if I would not be updated and I'm a new listener, I'll fucking be scared. I'm like, oh, 28% GST on that, 28% of GST, what Harsh is saying. So we really have to actually proposals, actual laws, legalities, illegalities. People are just being scared in India because they don't even still know that you can actually accept crypto and there is nothing wrong in it. They just have to correct, decide the regulations.
I would like to say, like, quote an insider thing, like, why Indian government started regulating crypto, not because of the investors, like investors are holding, only because of the transactions they are doing, like settlement thing. I'll quote example from Delhi. Like, Delhi is one of the biggest import hub for electronics. In Delhi, there is a place called Karol Bagh. In Karol Bagh, what happens now? They import electronics from China. And what happens? In 2019, there was a volume of 1,000 crore in Indian rupees in a monthly basis from the merchant or from the owners. And in the COVID time, they saw a decline of around 30 to 40% in the volume, although electronic segment is growing rapidly. Then they decided to go more deeper into this, and they got to know that they are using crypto like as a payment for the settlement of the goods and stuff like that. Then they set up a committee and they decided to like tax the thing, because they are losing money on like international settlement. They are
I
losing
will tell
track
you
of.
something. I will interrupt, but there was an interview of the former Minister of Finance from St. Martin, and you should listen to it, about money laundering, about bad things, he said recently in the last month in Holland, they have caught people with millions and millions of euros in bags. That conventional money always was happening. There's nothing that we can do to stop it. A, B, C. They will still keep on doing it. In fact, we are more on the place where it's impossible. When you import, and whether you send the money, when you're saying that they import 1,000 crores, they were sending money by crypto. Forget about crypto for a minute. They would send by cash. They would still smuggle the goods. Indian government would still miss out on the duties and taxes. How does it differentiate how they send the money? They would have anyway smuggled it. Smuggling it because in Indian customs, they have to pay proof of payment, this, that. So that's actually irrespective of some things. But people just speak like this, and we have to make them understand this is cash. Exactly treat Bitcoin Cash as how you treat cash. Merchants ask me, how do you declare it? I mean, that's not my business. How do you treat your cash? If I come to your business and buy a beer for $10 and I give you cash, how do you treat it? Exactly treat Bitcoin Cash the same. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, most of the major brand chains, like these are worldwide franchises, they have in the system Bitcoin Cash. I mean, I'll post a receipt. I did on Twitter already, and you can see it. So when you close your system, there is how you treat it as cash, and that's how I actually stick to my statement.
That's correct. And this is PCH would be next Paytm of India.
And this is why the war on drugs just didn't work. It's always going to happen. You're totally right there, Sunny. Nothing's going to stop it. We've got actually 3 people that have had their hands up for a very long time. So, Andreas, would you like to go ahead and take the stage?
Yeah. Hey, guys. I'm from the Bitcoin SV community, though I was in Bitcoin Cash back in the original split and stuff. Although it kind of feels strange saying I'm from the Bitcoin SV community, but it is what it is. I use Bitcoin Cash as well. Yeah.
You're welcome anyway.
And I use Bitcoin Cash, and I use Bitcoin SV for things I can't do with either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's apps on BSV that I use, but then when I'm like trying to transfer coins on exchanges, I prefer to use Bitcoin Cash because it's like a proof of work chain. And, I think we're all in the same camp in like seeing the merits of proof of work as like a way to just use the capitalist competition to spur growth and to the proof of work system in miners, but also in the ecosystem too. So it's like we're kind of all on the same page in that regard. But I did have a question. And I would love to hear maybe someone's comments on that. But I do have a question for, I think, Harsh or Sunny, or maybe as well for you, Fendis. So I was really impressed with your guys' success and Bitcoin Cash's success in approaching merchants and things and getting it adopted to be used as cash. I think that's an excellent move. But being that like Bitcoin Cash doesn't have like the best reputation in crypto, let's say, like what kind of pushback were you guys getting, if any? And like if you can talk to me about some difficulties that you guys faced in like approaching merchants to adopt it.
Well, when you speak about reputation, actually a lot of things have happened in the last 2 weeks or 1 week that has clarified a lot about Bitcoin Cash reputation. Some cryptos went from 100 to 0. Stable currencies have disappeared from the market, wiping out billions. Bitcoin itself, I don't like to name it because I don't like, to say anything bad about it, but they have went from, I was not even introduced to crypto when it was 69,000 and now it's 29. So I don't know how Bitcoin Cash has a bad reputation. I really need an explanation for that first. But to clarify now, anyways, Bitcoin Cash is being more used as a utility. There is no other currency, and I've tried everything. Whatever people claim, I want to actually see. I want to see the videos. If they say there's a Lightning Network or Dogecoin or any other currency, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. It's open to the whole world. Can you please post one video where you buy a beer and actually it goes through without any transaction fees and instant? Where is it? I've not seen one. I'm sorry, but I have not seen one. Yeah.
Could I interject there real quickly just to point out that
he did his fake video of he paid the store to accept Bitcoin on his own device for one transaction, and then turns out they didn't actually accept Bitcoin, didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, could I comment there real quick and just point out that the bad reputation, the people with whom Bitcoin Cash has a bad reputation are, for the most part, at least, given my experience, the crypto people. And they're not necessarily the people we're trying to bring on board, right? The crypto people are 99% people who want to increase their value in fiat. So when you're going around telling people like, okay, use this tool, we'd like you to use this money that we're really enthusiastic about, the chances of them saying like, oh, Bcash, that's Btrash, like, I think are pretty slim. And so it's more about, saying like, it's trying to talk to them and realize like what are their problems and how can you solve them and make them realize that yes, this is something you want them to do, but it benefits both of you,
Guys, we should have one day where all influencers on Twitter like make a post about Bitcoin Cash and we all tag Elon to it. Elon is, I think, one of the biggest influencer in the world, and he talks about adopting Bitcoin for Tesla, Dogecoin for Tesla. Why not put a case for Bitcoin Cash? We all make a post about Bitcoin Cash, make it a Bitcoin Cash day, and tag Elon.
These strategies don't work, not on Reddit and not on Twitter, because those are highly centralized, controlled places, and if they don't want this kind of promotion, then they don't. It's just not going to happen. So the only alternative we have right now is like a Telegram seems to be working fine. There's no there's no censorship there from Telegram. We kind of control it ourselves, and we just have to go out in the real world because like this the ID we get from social media that Bitcoin Cash is hated is also fake. It's sure there's a small amount of people in the real world that have been influenced by propaganda, but you can literally go outside and try meet a couple hundred people. And if you show them how Bitcoin Cash works for the first time in their life, then that's always going to be Bitcoin for them, no matter what happens. So if anybody ever tries to talk them into the Lightning Network, they're just going to be like, well, that's not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is just like you scan it, you send it, and it arrives. So, we're
BCH, just a reminder, next time, can you please pop your hand up, because there have been a lot of people with their hands up. Just a reminder to everyone. And anyone who's finished speaking, if you want to just pop down to listener once you're done, that'd be great so we can bring other people up. But yeah, if you can just be mindful of people that have got their hands up. So I'll let you finish and then we'll go to Daniel.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't really used Twitter Spaces much. I'm kind of new to how it works. I just want to say that, like, we're really putting too much. Like, see, the propaganda gets in your head, and then you always get kind of in, whoever you're talking to, you kind of get in this defensive mode, and we got to get out of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin Cash, and nobody thinks that there's anything wrong with Bitcoin Cash. All that hate is just on social media, which we don't control, which is a lost battle. So it's completely distorted. So, just show how BCH works to people you meet in the real world. That's the only thing you have to do.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. I have to leave. I have a little, some people coming home right now. Thank you, everyone, and I might join back soon if I get the time. I really hate to leave this conversation.
Thanks,
guys. Take care. Roger, thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. And I just wanted to quickly say the person who made that statement was from BSV, and I'm guessing they were looking for ways to overcome so much animosity, I guess, because of the Craig Wright suing everyone, but that has nothing to do with Bitcoin Cash. So we'll go to Daniel. Please go ahead, Daniel.
Hi, thanks. I just want to know if there is any country adopting Bitcoin Cash as a legal tender. And another question is for Roger. What's his opinion about what's going on in El Salvador? If that's okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so we saw Minister Bryson in St. Martin has already started accepting his salary in Bitcoin Cash and submitted legislation to make it official legal tender in St. Martin. It's important to know that, like, anywhere that I've been involved in any way with that, we've been specifying very clearly that it's voluntary. People can choose to use it. It's not mandated by law. Whereas in El Salvador, it seems to be that they're forcing businesses, saying that you have to accept this by force of law. And I'm a fan of voluntarism. I want people to be able to decide that they want to use Bitcoin Cash because it's useful. And it'll be nice to have that, codified in law that, hey, yeah, this is just fine to do that. You don't have to worry about it at all. But it's not just St. Martin. There's a number of other countries that are looking into that as well. And it's not from the top down, it's from the bottom up. It's just because people are already just naturally using Bitcoin Cash as cash. And I hope we can get some other people that have requested to be speakers in here. Let's start cycling through so people can have their say and have everybody be able to have a chance as well. And I want to ask if it's the real Milo Yiannopoulos waiting there as well. I know he was gone from Twitter for a while. Maybe it's a parody account. I'll be ecstatic if it's him because I've enjoyed a lot of his past media, social media stuff.
Milo is great. I hope so.
But we need someone else to hop out of the speaker area so we can make room for the additional speakers.
So, Mark, did you maybe, Roger, make Mark a co-host so that we can have more speakers come up, or someone else?
Yep, on it right now.
You can get me off a speaker.
And who said that again? I was adding Mark. That's maybe
Shrey. That's Shrey. Shrey TV. You can get me off of a speaker so somebody else gets a chance.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And while we're figuring all this out, just one more thing I'd like to comment on El Salvador. Again, largely, besides just forcing all businesses to accept BTC, firstly, it's not. It's Lightning. And they've also gave $25 or $30 to, quote-unquote, every El Salvadorian citizen through their own Lightning wallet application. And with Lightning's centralized and also censorable nature, it gives the government the same power the banks and the government already had with normal accounts by being able to monitor people's transactions, their spending habits. It enables them to see what they're doing. If they want, they could possibly censor the money or shut down those KYC accounts that you need to have that application. It just gives them the ability to monitor over everyone, which is not really the goal. And then anyone who speaks out against it, they get arrested and who knows, maybe tortured or otherwise. I mean, Mark I know met up at Bitcoin 2022 with one guy that was arrested in El Salvador for speaking out against the method of which they used to promote it.
I'm just mindful that the wild goat has had his hand up or her hand up for a while, so...
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay. So my question is that I've been in crypto space for a while now, and I use Bitcoin Cash. I love it and like how it has overtaken Bitcoin in terms of real-world utility. The place where I come from, there's been a talk in the community on Monero flipping Bitcoin Cash. And so this is my question to Roger Ver. In addition to privacy concerns, which I'm sure you would acknowledge, there seems to be a change in narrative on which is getting to be a more used P2P digital cash. And I also learned that there's been a concern around this Monero's hidden inflation. That's something I hear can be proven with math and with a lower transaction fee. So I want to ask you, what features would Bitcoin Cash provide in the future to counter this narrative? So I would like to understand this from you. Thanks.
Yeah, so Bitcoin Cash, there's not the same sort of risk of a hidden inflation bug if there's inflation hack of some sort, like there was on BTC, and then the Bitcoin Cash devs pointed it out to them so they could fix it. If that happens on Bitcoin Cash, it'll be public and people will know about it right away. And in fact, like, Monero is so awesome and so many people have bought it, like, I kind of have to wonder, maybe there's already an inflation bug, and the person that's exploiting the inflation bug is just doing the long, slow roll with that, so they can extract as much money over a longer period of time rather than blowing up Monero all at once by making a billion coins and then selling them. Because why is the price of Monero not already higher? And it's been around a long time. It's used almost exclusively in the darknet at this point. Monero is awesome. Why isn't the price higher already? And so I think the combination of that and the fact that governments have preemptively banned it, again, in Japan, Singapore, Korea, and a number of other countries, the exchanges are not allowed to list it. And we talked earlier, Coinbase and blockchain in the West, those are some of the biggest wallets and account platforms. They're not allowed to, or they're scared to list it. Even if they're not allowed to directly, it's because they're scared to list it. That's a big problem. Bitcoin Cash has CashFusion, which is an amazing privacy tool. And then the reusable payment addresses or payment codes or whatever the acronym they're using for it now can give Bitcoin Cash some privacy in a similar ballpark to Monero if people use it properly. And hopefully the wallet software can come so it makes it just super easy and uses those things by default. But it doesn't have to be an either or. Have some Monero like I do. Monero's fantastic. I guess one of the things I like the least about Monero, if I can talk about it, and I guess it's not an attack on Monero directly, but Tim Draper, the world famous venture capitalist, he bought a bunch of Bitcoin Cash. I explained it to him. I explained the differences. He literally bought millions of dollars of Bitcoin Cash, and then he put out a real nice tweet about it saying, thank you at Roger Veer for telling me about Bitcoin Cash on Twitter or something to that effect. But my Twitter ID is Roger K. Veer, so he tagged some old golfer guy or something in Florida. But then the Twitter sphere blew up about it, and then one of these Monero guys literally said, I called Tim Draper's office. He confirms his account has been hacked. He would never be tweeting about Bcash. And all these trolls came out of the woodwork attacking his Twitter account for saying a positive thing about Bitcoin Cash, to where he eventually did delete the tweet just because he didn't want to deal with it. And then the Cointelegraph and other news outlets out there started reporting out, Tim Draper's account was hacked to promote Bitcoin Cash. He didn't actually do it, and this and that. When the fact of the matter is, he absolutely did. He bought a bunch of Bitcoin Cash, and then the anti-Bitcoin Cash trolls came out of the woodwork and trolled him away from it. And that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You'll never hear me say anything bad about Monero. Monero is awesome. Zcash is awesome. There's a bunch of amazing privacy coins out there. The biggest downside of the privacy coins, for the most part, is the potential for hidden inflation bugs and the fact that governments have preemptively banned them because they're so bad. Because they're so good. The privacy is so strong that they preemptively ban them. So that's my rant on Monero and privacy coins in general, and why I think Bitcoin Cash is the best privacy coin, because it's not preemptively banned and you can have really strong privacy on Bitcoin Cash.
Hi. Thanks, Roger. I appreciate your kind words. Thanks.
Thank you. And I saw Milo had his hand up. I'm curious to hear if this is the real Milo or just another Milo fan out there.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, a little bit under the weather. No, I just want to say I support Bitcoin Cash, because anything that gets the money supply out of the hands of the central banking Jews, I'm all in favor of.
So I don't think that's the real Milo, but thank you for the support and the racist troll commentary as well. So, well played, well trolled.
Well, I see that Rolando is here with us. Do we want to get him on stage?
Yeah, let me do that right now. And someone else can say something while I'm figuring out the whole interface here as well. So
I just really wanted to reiterate something I heard Emergent Reasons, John Nieri, talk about recently, which is that, we talk about how we have the issue with marketing with Bitcoin Cash, but I'd like people to sort of keep in mind that, Bitcoin Cash is probably one of, if not the only, legitimately decentralized products out there. And some people will be like, haha, that's so funny. But, I think it's really the case. And what that means is that we don't have not just, we're decentralized, so we have censorship resistance and all this stuff, but it's actually somewhat a downside in the short term, because we don't have a set group of people making decisions about how Bitcoin Cash is going to be marketed. And so it requires a, bottom-up solution, and it requires people sort of figuring things out on their own in a decentralized way. And so that takes time and it's hard work, but it also sort of creates this, they talk about anti-fragility and stuff like that. If we really want to be anti-fragile, that's the way to do it, to make it so that we're a distributed group of people all taking action collectively, and leaders are leading, but in no way coercing anyone else. And so these are muscles that Bitcoin Cash is flexing now. But we're only flexing them now because we managed to spend years figuring out, building up these muscles and realizing, we really can't have the central anything. People are constantly talking about, let's get some sort of group together or board, and it's maybe that would be okay in the short term, but in the long term, it seems like this is the way to go. And so, one, I think we're already doing great, but then two, it really is up to each and every one of us to step up however much we can to market Bitcoin Cash or do whatever it is we can that we think relates to marketing Bitcoin Cash. And so, yeah, I just really like that analogy, that it's muscles that we're building up that maybe other people are sort of ahead of us on, because they have this huge amount of, seed funding from whatever venture capitalists, and they've got, the ability to make fancy graphics and stuff, and they've got one person in charge deciding where everything goes. But in the long term, that's not going to work out. And I think Bitcoin Cash has, we're positioned pretty well.
Yep, absolutely agree with that. And I think the community spirit that's been seen now since the last split, it's just amazing. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I think we can see that in this spaces, how many people have turned up. There's so much going on with the Bitcoin Cash community, despite the fact we don't have that centralized marketing strategy. And that's fantastic.
And even while Sonny is not on the spaces here with us, he's texting me that I don't know who this person is, but he says he has the Elon Musk of cricket, which cricket's like a, I don't know, Caribbean baseball type game. I don't know much about, but apparently has some cricket superstar that's going to help him promote Bitcoin Cash in Jamaica. So
Roger, cricket is the biggest sport in India by far. Everyone plays cricket all the time, and that's it. So
I don't know much about cricket, but he claims to have the Elon Musk of cricket. So.
That's amazing. I mean, that will help in India. That will be huge. Really, that will be like having I'm not really into football, but the David Beckham of the day. That's huge.
Yeah, for all the cricket fans out there, so maybe I'll have to learn something about
There's almost 2 billion of them, Roger. Don't underestimate this.
Yeah. So maybe Fiendish Crypto, like this was your idea to begin with. I'm just going to let you take over as like the main speaker. I'm listening for a bit longer, but I'm heading to bed here pretty soon. But amazing to see such a great turnout here. So thank you guys all as I'll continue to listen as I go to sleep tonight.
Yes, thank you, Roger. And thank you for reopening the Bitcoin Cash Part 2. We had some technical issues with the first one. Twitter kicked us out after 1 hour. But this one seems to be working just fine. And yeah, what a show. Also had some feedback in the Bitcoin Cash community that Twitter's also shown that well over 1,000 people viewed the original part of this. And my guessing is it'll be something similar, if not more, for the second part. Is there anyone that would like to speak or become a speaker? Rolando Bryson was there, but I think now he's gone. But if anyone would like to speak, just request.
I just wanted to also point out that I've posted the meeting that's happening on the 12th to the 13th of November, the conference for Bitcoin Cash. If anyone wants to click on that, that's up in the nest.
Thank you for that, Sherry.
Yeah, maybe Sherry needs to be the new organizer for this. She definitely seems to know what she's doing with Twitter Spaces, so thank you, Sherry. And maybe Sherry knows, like, if I drop off as the host, is that going to end the entire thing, or will it be able to continue on with the co-hosts here? Because I want to give, like, another slot to speakers, but I don't want to.
I think you need to transfer. I think you need to transfer host.
No, you can't transfer it. So, Roger, when you close the space down, the whole space will close. The only option you have is to go to bed and leave your phone on.
Okay, I'll stick around for a little bit longer, but yeah. Okay. I see one Rohan with laser eyes, though. I'd love to hear it. He put his hand up. Let's hear what the laser eyes have to say, please.
Hey, Roger. Nice to be talking to you. So you were the first person whose video I saw back in, I think, 2015, 2016, and that was my introduction to Bitcoin. And I didn't buy it back then because that was the moment when I thought I understood it, but didn't really. And then I came back during the block size wars was happening, and there was so much hate about you in the Bitcoin community that until 2019, I actually completely bought that. And they were calling you Bitcoin Judas and whatnot, and everybody was just hating on Bitcoin Cash in general. And so I'm just wondering, like now that we, attending all the Bitcoin Maxi Twitter spaces, you just see a lot of hate for altcoins in general, and there's a special kind of hate for the folks in particular, like Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. So I'm just wondering, because newbies come in, and then during the bear market, that hate rate goes even more because the price action is completely against all the folks and everything, and it's all about Bitcoin. So I'm just wondering, like, when new people enter into the market, how do people see Bitcoin Cash adoption going on? Because the narrative is so strong against Bitcoin Cash that new people enter in until they actually read the white papers and do the research, it's just difficult to understand because everybody introduces, at least the Maxis introduced this as Bitcoin crap or something like that, right? So that's one question. And then also, Roger, I would love to hear your thoughts about Litecoin as well, if possible, as of today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there. I guess the thing. So a lot of people maybe don't realize this. When the Bitcoin scaling stuff was starting to heat up on the block size, I was agnostic. I wasn't sure. I wanted to listen. I thought maybe there is an argument for keeping the blocks small, and so I was just quiet and I was listening and reading and following the arguments and my heart already leaned towards the big block side, but I thought maybe there's some other points to consider, and I didn't take any stance on it at all until the small block side went out of their way to start censoring anybody that was a big blocker. And I saw, wait a minute, one side supporting free speech, the other side supporting censorship. Well, it's clear I'm on the side of the free speech, and the free speech side is the big block side. And so that's why I decided to speak up and throw my voice in there. And I'm sorry, I forget what the second question was because I'm getting ready to go to bed here pretty soon, and my energy level is fading. But yeah, I think we have to overcome this negativity towards Bitcoin Cash and just show people, hey, Bitcoin Cash is awesome. It works. Just try it. Name calling is not an argument, and that's about the only thing that the BTC camp has. It's a bunch of name calling and censorship. Anybody that tries to use it can see, like, Bitcoin Cash works better than Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, the second question was just your general thoughts on Litecoin as well, as of today.
Yeah, I think Litecoin's a contender as well. I like the part that I found frustrating is Charlie Lee. Like, Litecoin clearly does have a founder that's known and everybody knows. He was one of the biggest voices calling out to cripple Bitcoin and to not allow it to scale and not allow the blocks to be increased. While Litecoin is right there ready to take over for it. And they were telling him, oh, Litecoin is silver to Bitcoin's gold was the slogan for a long time. And, like, it's true, Litecoin is better than Bitcoin, but, like, I think that's a dirty tactic to, like, intentionally, like, throw sand in the gears of Bitcoin while your product is right there ready to take over. Like, that just kind of felt dirty to me. So I never took that big of an interest or liking to Litecoin, but it's clearly a contender. And there's lots of transactions and, market cap and lots of adoption. So good for them.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Okay, the Bitcoin out loud. You've got your hand up. Would you like to take the stage?
Yeah, I just wanted to quick point out that, like, there's sort of the two groups of people that get introduced to crypto, right? There's the people that get introduced to the market, and then there's the people that get introduced to it as a tool. And so again, like, as much as we might feel like there's this big problem of, like, well, what about all these people entering the market that, see that the price is down or get exposed to whatever propaganda? That's, not necessarily something that we just totally want to ignore, but at the same time, there's a much, 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 much bigger group of people out there that just haven't used crypto and that could actually use it as a tool. Now, they might actually still be the people willing to sort of try this new technology, even though there's a huge number of people that could benefit from it. The people willing to actually try it might be relatively small, but at least I would argue that's where the progress is going to be made, at least in our sort of long-term growth as a payment network. And so, we could spend our time thinking about the people entering the market, but if instead we just focus our time finding people that will find Bitcoin Cash useful and then slowly create demand for it because they actually need it to do what they need to do, that's probably I say probably, I think it's pretty likely that that's the way to go about it. I mean, I just want to plug, like, a project to, like, so Surgery, they're like the scientific publishing industry is, not it's a sort of a shit show, apparently. You have to pay to basically get your research published, and you have to pay to then see other people's research, and people are peer reviewing things, for free, just because it's their, job as scientists. And it's like, and everyone, and the person who profits off it are these, like, huge companies that just do the publishing when, they could be doing basically what they're doing for, tiny amounts of money. Instead, they're charging enormous amounts because they have this incumbent position. Well, like, Surgery has been sort of taking this stance of, like, well, we found something that works as money and that will allow us to disrupt that industry. We're going to run our own journal where we actually provide stipends to people who provide data and also those who do peer review. And we're going to be able to do it for, not just pennies on the dollar, but pennies on the thousands of dollars compared to how the industry is currently handling things. And so, like, the more people we can find like that who have an idea or want to do something and Bitcoin Cash helps them do it, that's really where the progress is going to be made. And I should point out that, like, I'm guilty of spending a lot more time trying to convince people in the crypto space than I should, but that is my honest opinion, and I'm working on it.
I just want to provide a slightly alternative viewpoint on just one thing you said, which is that we can, it's going to be slower and we can kind of take our time. I don't. Well, overall, that is the way to go. I don't think we can take it so super lax. Not to suggest that that's what you're mentioning, but just to provide clarity on my point of view, is that the longer we take to get the word out, to show people how this tool can be used and just spreading awareness,
the longer other communities have to push propaganda or to build their own tools, and yet that's great, but we already have the tools available now. And the longer we wait, the more the BTC maximalists can push out their KYC lightning solutions and otherwise, and further confuse people, because the train has left the station. It's moving, and it's up to everyone to really divert the train back onto its proper course before it can be taken so far off that it would become almost impossible to bring it back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm just mindful that there are other people with their hands up. We've got Cryptic who's just joined into the room, Nitro and Brent. So if it's okay, we'll jump to Brent with his hand up.
Okay, sure. Thanks for taking my call, or well, I don't even know what to say. I'm new to Spaces, but just want to say I've been a long time BTC and crypto early adopter, and I got my BCH from the fork in 2017 from BTC, and I'm still holding on. Investment from that perspective is down a lot. I spend BCH sometimes, not as much as I used to, but from looking at just like the aspect of the price of BCH going up, it's pretty simple. If more people hold it, the price will go up. So if I look at something like that's done well from that perspective recently, Richard Hart's Hex.com, which is a CD aspect. The question is for Roger. I'm wondering if there's any ideas, or maybe it's already built into BCH, some type of CD holding or incentive to hold on to BCH more to help people hold it more for the price to go up. I think BCH is clearly the best crypto payment network. But from that perspective, I was wondering if Roger knows anything about that. Thank you.
You guys aren't going to let me go to bed tonight, are you? There's
Sorry,
a lot
Roger.
happening. It's okay. There's a lot happening on the smart BCH stuff. So you have all these dexes where you can do your liquidity farming. And so there's like Tango Swap and Miss Swap and this and that. And of course the Bitcoin.com Verse Dex. There's all this stuff happening that'll lock up a lot of Bitcoin Cash. And the more Bitcoin Cash gets locked up doing liquidity farming or whatever else, the less there is for floating around. So the price will go up over time. So I think the really big bullish thing for the price aspect of Bitcoin Cash, in addition to the fact that it works so well as cash, and there's people using it for that, but I think a lot of it's going to get locked up in different DeFi stuff on the smart Bitcoin Cash network, and it's neat to see that ecosystem growing so quickly.
Any timeline on that, Roger, on when you think those things will be like more available, and is there any type of like marketing strategy at Bitcoin.com to help people become aware of that once it is available?
Yeah, I think the big short-term turning point will be once Bitcoin Cash is available inside the Bitcoin.com wallet, and people can do the DeFi stuff from there. But even right now today, you can do it with a MetaMask. So grab your MetaMask wallet, and you'll have to configure it to use Smart BCH. But I think if you go to, marketcap.cash, I think is the website, it even like gives you a little button that says click this, and then it configures everything for you. So it's super easy to do. But I think getting it in the Bitcoin.com wallet will be a good big step for that as well. It's a gradual progression that's not a overnight single point that makes it all happen.
Okay, thanks, Roger.
So Roger, you said you need to go to bed soon, and I got to be honest, I got to go to bed soon too. But before I leave, I'd just like to point out one thing again. The original idea of the this opening of space was to open up a forum to talk about Bitcoin Cash, P2P Cash, but it was designed to be open and for allow people to speak constructively from everywhere in the crypto space. Someone's just tweeted me now, and I'm going to repeat it exactly as it's written. So at Fiendish Crypto, Sherry is censoring, not letting some BSV guys to come up to speak. Bitcoin should set the example of openness and discussions. I don't know, Sherry, if you want to say anything about that.
That's Andreas. He already asked a question. So, yeah, we've got Diesel with his hand up next. I don't think I'm censoring. He's already asked the question. He's down to listener. Go on, Diesel.
No, I'm a BSV holder, but BSV community is very toxic. But I just had a question for Roger. Like, are you following the developments in the central bank digital currencies? Do you ever think that any of these Bitcoins will actually be used as for a cash system? And one last question, do you still hold your Ripple stock, and do you hold XRP?
So the last question first, hold my Ripple stock and hold a bunch of XRP as well. XRP transactions are super fast, super cheap, but the major exception is at a new XRP address, you have to have like 20 XRP balance, right? So it's like almost $10 at the moment. So it costs $10 worth of XRP to onboard every single new person. So that's a problem. But I have, keep a diverse portfolio. And for those that don't know, all these people that claim, oh, Roger's just a Bcash fan, like, I literally put up the very first dollar to start Ripple. Like, it was my money that created like Ripple to get it all started. And so like I've never ever been a single coin maximalist. I'm a maximalist for trying a bunch of different things and figuring out what works for the world. And Bitcoin Cash, again, I think is in the pole position to become cash for the world. And again, I'm falling asleep in bed and listening. I forget what the first question was there as well. Please repeat it.
What was the second question? Was there a second question, Diesel, or was it just that?
Oh, I was just saying that the tax, it doesn't look like the governments are ever going to change the tax treatment on any of these cryptos, so they won't really work well as like a currency substitute. It's like as they are now, property. So do you see that as a hindrance in the adoption of Bitcoin Cash or any of the Bitcoins as like a peer-to-peer electronic cash system?
Yeah, that's a huge hindrance, but that's part of why it's exciting to see like, Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash being made legal currencies in different countries. It'll be harder for the U.S. or other countries to say like, oh, you were using another country's legal tender, so that you have all sorts of extra capital gains tax or something on that. If you're an American and you use the euro for something up to a pretty significant amount, you don't have to worry about capital gains tax rate and this and that. So it'll be nice to see cryptocurrency be in that same position there soon.
And just to add on to that, so it's really important to look at what's going on in Europe. So the largest, the economical richest country of the EU is Germany, and in Germany the tax rules are if you hold on to crypto for more than 1 year, you don't pay tax. Now, of course, we don't want to be hodlers; we want to use our crypto. But there's actually some interesting thing where if you staked or earn interest on your coins, that tax limit would go up to 10 years, and the German government are basically bringing out some new laws to say that won't be the case, and so it will still be tax free after 1 year. And so Germany is certainly sending some signals out that they want to stay crypto friendly. They want people to be able to sell crypto without paying taxes. So I think that there's some positive signs too. It's not all negative what's coming out from governments, and Germany is an important part of the EU.
And before Roger falls asleep, we might keep going. We've got Nitro down the bottom, and after Nitro we'll go to Ian.
Hey, great. Yeah, thanks for having me. First off, I really like what Bitcoin Cash is trying to do with getting adoption as number one. I think that's very, very important. Something that I've always had a question on is the security of Bitcoin Cash. As far as I know now, like the SHA-256 hashing is like 1% of what Bitcoin is right now, something like that. And so as far as I understand it, isn't it like kind of easy to 51% attack Bitcoin Cash? Is there any concern with that? Just like to know your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Well, there's a bit of I'll provide a little bit on that. So there's the fact that the SHA-256, the other 99% is mining for the most part BTC, right? But the miners sort of on the overall SHA-256 network are actually supportive of Bitcoin Cash, and we've seen that in several examples. So like during the BSV split, and then the most recent, the eCash, ABC, whatever split, like miners will move over hash power or at least show their support signaling wise, like for Bitcoin Cash. So as much as sure, it's like, okay, if we view it as like, oh, could BTC miners, 51% attack Bitcoin Cash, and then it's like, okay, sure, it seems like it'd be possible, but then you realize like they're the same miners, and they just tend to shift like a percentage of their hash power between them. So then the question is, okay, well, how much of them actually support Bitcoin Cash? And I don't know if we have any hard numbers on that. Maybe someone can help me out there. But I also then want to point out that attacking Bitcoin Cash, it's a question of whether it be profitable, right? And a 51% attack happening on a coin, you could almost argue that no matter who it is, it would be bad for crypto overall. And maybe they'd be able to spin it, it's just Bcash or whatever. But as much as it seems like we're sort of on these low numbers, it's a much bigger question of sort of practicality and incentives. And I think, maybe tomorrow it'll happen. Of course, there's no way I could say it definitely won't. But I think a lot of Bitcoin Cash people are very comfortable given the current situation because a lot of the SHA-256 hash rate is actually supportive of Bitcoin Cash.
And everything John said is true. But if I can add one other point, is that Bitcoin Cash, a while back, they implemented a 10-block rolling checkpoint. So even if there's a big, giant 51% attack, it can never roll the chain back more than 10 blocks. So if any exchange or business, once they have 10 blocks, that's it. And it doesn't matter if BTC was attacking BCH with 1 million times more hash rate. Once you have 10 blocks, you're done.
Okay, the current hash rate doesn't tell you much necessarily about the available hash rate on the network. So the current hash rate just tells you, what the miners are willing to put towards it right now, given the difficulty of mining on the chain. They don't need to use more hash that's available to them, but it doesn't tell you how much potential hash is available if the difficulty starts to go up because there's an attack on the chain. So whenever you look at the current hash rate, I don't think that's a useful metric necessarily in determining whether there's actually going to be a 51% attack.
And we'll go to Ian.
Hi guys, nice to meet you.
Hi Ian.
Hi there. I want to go back 1 second to something about the Bitcoin.com wallet with Smart BCH. I think this will be breaks the barrier to adoption. For example, in Argentina, you have like 250 businesses that accept BCH. And now you don't have a lot of people with BCH. You have a big community, like 500 people, but people doesn't earn BCH, which can be spent in the future. So I think the Bitcoin.com adding Smart BCH will allow a new breaks the frontier to adoption. I think this will be big. I will help a lot because you can have 10,000 business, but if no one paying to that business, they will stop to accept in the future. And Smart BCH can really help with that. My microphone is on.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, this is the problem when everyone's muted. You don't know how to do it, but totally agree with you. And on this note, I've got to say, I'm really tired. I have to go to bed. I have some important meetings tomorrow. Thanks from me. I'm not the host of this particular Spaces. The original one, stopped after 1 hour. But I was the one that originally hosted the space. And I'm going to make sure that the recordings of these are available, certainly on my Twitter. I'm guessing that I'll be able to see this on Roger's too. So for anyone, you can spread this around for anyone that couldn't be there today. And I'll create a poll or something to try and see how often this spaces should be organized. I think it's fantastic. I don't want it to be too often because maybe then people get bored and they don't turn up. But I think it'd be really awesome if maybe every 2 weeks or something like that to start with. But the turnout was much, much larger than I think. I don't know, Roger, how you were thinking it was going to turn out, but I wasn't expecting quite so many people. It's really fantastic. So thank you for everyone that came today and dropped in to listen. And I really want to also say there was a couple of comments about censorship. I don't believe there was any censorship going on today. From what I understand of Sherry, she's a really awesome, really positive person that speaks to everyone and listens to different points of views. And that's exactly what I want to be part of in this community. For me, when I'm hosting such events, I really want it to be open and positive, and not descending into just bitching about other cryptos or other people. And I think in this case, it was just there are so many people here and so many people wanting to talk at the same time. And Sherry, we can only allow 10 people to speak at the same time. So thank you, Sherry, for co-hosting that. I think you did a great job. We'll try and do better in the future and make sure that everyone that wants to speak can. And on that note, thank you, Roger, for picking up and creating the second spaces. And next time I'll make sure that there is no time limit on that so it can just run on as this one did. Thank you very much, everyone. And on that note, I wish everyone a great day or a great sleep, depending on where you are in the world.
Yep, and I'm going to bring it into this too, but not interested in censoring anybody. Happy to engage with BSV or any other coin in the future as well. And we all saw what happened when Samson Mao and I were on the stage, and there was no censorship there. So more than happy to engage with anybody on anything. But let's all do this again. Let's show the world, hey, Bitcoin Cash is awesome peer-to-peer cash for the entire world. If someone else wants to continue this, they can do it on their own Twitter account. But I'm going to log off at the moment, but happy to participate again at some point in the future. So thank you guys all so much for spreading. Oh, Mike Belch from BitGo. How can we end it right now when he's here? So, Mike, thank you for joining. Oh, my God.
It's never going to end.
It's never going to end, but I'm going to end it for me now. I really need to go to bed. I have a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, and just a reminder as well to everyone in the room, up in the nest, we've got the conference on the 22nd of November, sorry, on the 12th to the 13th of November. So that's up in the nest for anyone who wants to click on that.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Mike Belch is the founder of BitGo, one of the biggest custody solutions in the world for crypto stuff. I think Galaxy acquired them a little while ago, but anyhow, another just awesome guy. I was a fan of Big Blocks, and he saw the censorship, and he's been through the whole space, and just an awesome engineer all the way around. So I feel bad to call an end to this right when Mike joined, but I have to go to bed. So thank you all. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Roger. Good night. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Good seeing you.